Hey, everybody, and welcome in to another episode of Vox and Jed Fight About It, where usually I have an opening bit, but today I don't, weirdly enough.
Wow,
There's no
look at
bit,
that.
all serious, dead serious episode the whole way through, no jokes.
All right.
We're here today with Jed and CorruptDen,
Hello.
the final guest of the year.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
That's
God,
wild.
That's insane to think about.
Yeah, no, Jed, we were just talking about this. We just talked about, because you were like, last night you were like, so it's like having I got like a dental appointment this weekend, and I was like, I don't know if I'll be good by Christmas, because I got like a major surgery. And you were like, oh shit, Christmas is that close? Did you like come to the realization Christmas was that close, but not New Year? For some reason?
Well, I don't know. Like, New Year still feels pretty far away. It's like a week and a half away. But like, I didn't realize that Christmas was like
especially
4 days away.
Show.
Yeah. How close will this
so
episode come out to Christmas?
This one will be on Sunday, so it'll be like 3 days
pre-Christmas.
3 days.
Yeah, 3 days pre-Christmas. That's wild.
Just a week away. Anyway.
Yeah, well, no, it's under a week away now.
No, just a week away. Just a week away.
No.
But no, CorruptDen. Do you want to give the people a little introduction to you and what you do and how you do it?
Yeah. So I'm Corruptin, in case you don't know me. Slight stutter. Hope that doesn't help. So I mainly do lore content, which on Twitch, and also been kind of branching out into like kind of variety stuff because I realized that lore has kind of dried up because I was overstressing myself out doing it. So I was like, let's just have fun for a bit. So I kind of stretched down to some different games, some that terrify me, some that I forget I'm streaming. I'm having that much fun.
Oh, hell yeah.
No, yeah. I feel you about the lore thing. It can become a lot fast. It's really fun. It's a really good time.
Oh, yeah. Don't get me wrong. I love it.
A lot. So quick.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
I guess we'll unpack that first. Let's talk about that for a little bit. How was your time doing lore stuff? How was that?
Fun, but very different to how like you guys do it. I like to plan my story out in advance, so it's very much it's we'll get into it later, but the thing that I've sent you for later, that's actually much better because I managed to pre-do it and put it in a video. But what I do before is I pre-do everything, get the cast all set up, and then I go live and interact live with my chat, but with a predetermined outcome to the stream to tell my story progress. I will say there's many things that have gone wrong. We had to improvise a lot, but it's still going. Luckily nothing's gone majorly wrong so far, but I'm taking a break from it because I've lost the plot of where the story's going.
Yeah.
What is your despair about, Vox?
My despair is about like, okay, so we do lore, obviously, and we're both notoriously hard to work with for some reason. Like, we're just difficult people when it comes to like doing things the right way the first time, especially when we only have one take. I don't know about Jed, but I get in my own head about that kind of thing, where it's like, oh shit,
yeah, a little bit.
This is the one. I can't back this back out and re-record. I don't have like a cough button that'll eat the last like 10 seconds so that I can try again.
But I feel that.
No, yeah, but like knowing how our very light, very like, I got 3 plot points I want to hit all stream. Other than that, doesn't matter. Knowing how wrong and how quickly all that can fall apart, I'm picturing like doing that with a script or something resembling a script, like, and going, oh wow, with like several actors, and just that seems impossible. How do you manage?
Well, the best way I've managed to find it is I've split all the actors up. My most recent one, I think it was the most recent one, I had 3 distinct sections of what the script was going to be, each one with one actor, so they weren't like intersecting with each other. And for a lot of it, I did let them improv. The first section, which I think is still my favorite, maybe close to the third section, but I'll get into that when I get to that part, was with my best friend Basic, who is another streamer, and I told him, because he basically knows nothing about the lore, I told him improv and be a character that I would want to get as far away from as possible, and he played it perfectly in the funniest way possible. So I don't really give them a script to follow specifically. I tell them the plot points they need to hit, and as long as they hit them, that is absolutely fine. They can do what they want for the rest of it.
Right.
Okay.
Very curb, very curb, but definitely more leaning towards an actual script than we ever get, which is to say like that. Oh man, Laura's difficult. Laura's a hard time. But there's no greater feeling than wrapping a good stream, and it's like, yes, we hit every beat. They were all fucking immaculate. This is the perfect shining example of exactly what I had in my head when I decided to write this down. You know? It's so good when that happens. It doesn't happen insanely often, but it's great.
No, it's pretty rare.
I've definitely had my moments after stream where I'm like, okay, I've ended now. I've raided someone. Let's go. Everyone in the VC. Let's watch it through. That was so good. And it's like, oh, I'm so happy.
Yeah, no, Vox and I are so new to the lore space that we're just like kind of fucking around, really. Like all said and done.
Months, but we keep just like dipping our toe in and pulling it back out.
I like your guys' stream with lore. You know the good balance between lore and just sticking with like comedy for the stream. It's worked well.
I feel like we hit that because like I don't know. I come to stream. I've noticed that I don't know if I've ever said this on the show. I've definitely expressed this to Jed before. I've noticed that like there's a weird thing that I have in my brain where like everything needs to be plotted. Not necessarily like beat for beat, but like every action, everything throughout my day, whether it be like a stream or even something like as mundane as like a trip to the grocery store, has to have a beginning, a middle, and an end in my brain. That's just the way I sort it. And so like, you know, as like a hyper simplified hero's journey, it's just like, okay, we want to hit one major beat today, and sometimes that beat is a plot beat where that'll have a beginning, a middle, and end. Or occasionally or more often than occasionally, actually, like most of the time, it's like, I want to build a spider farm today. We're gonna fucking sit down and we're gonna do that for 4 hours. And that'll be done like in stages in a way that's like funny.
Yeah, I've definitely had streams like that more recently because I recently joined a new server called Lockdown, which is another streamer called Kismet's server. And it's a big improv thing where it's like, there's nothing planned out behind the scenes for a lot of them. We know nothing. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do lore today. I'm going to go interact with this person, and maybe this person. I can't find that person. I'll go to the second person. Can't find them. Let's just go build a house for an hour, 15 minutes. You know, maybe that hour goes into 2 hours. Wait, I didn't do lore today. Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened at the beginning of our like dipping our toes into lore. Was like, yeah, we'll get around to like being a part of the main story, because at the time I was bringing like some big bad to Willow SMP, and so it's like we were like, yeah, things will come to us. So we'll look around, we'll stay high, and then we'll just do our own thing, and it'll come to us. It never came to us.
I heard about you were like time travel, bring Herobrine for the front. If I tuned into your stream now, I'd be like, this guy's cool. He would never bring the end of the world.
Yeah.
With the time travel stuff, we've kind of lost the plot a little bit. I feel like we've gone a little too complicated. Last time I did a lore stream, hell, you were there.
You teleported Vox and Jed underground, right?
Yeah. But the last time we did a lore stream was it was very lore heavy on I think it was this past Friday. And it was very lore heavy, and I had a lot of people who are regularly in my chat, but because most of these plot points are things that either resolved like a month ago or are from like 6 months out, you know, just like finally wrapping. It was a lot of, I can't follow this. I have no idea what I'm looking at here, you know?
Yeah.
And my question for you, I guess, is how do you manage stuff like that? How do you make sure that like plot is followable for people who are like, I'm just gonna tune in for this one stream?
Funny thing. I don't. So
fair enough.
Something that I've tried to do is over on my YouTube, as I try to put the VODs together to basically make one big story for people to watch back. I'm currently failing at that. I'm currently 5 episodes behind. So I'm trying.
Oh no!
But right now I'm like, you know what? Let's just get the streams done, and I can focus on getting the videos done. So it's kind of like a movie later. I do I try and word the dialogue in a way that hints back to the past, but luckily with my audience, a lot of them are their regulars, so they know the story and they know what's happening a lot of the time. Like I can bring up a name and it's like, oh, it's that person. So I don't have to worry about that just yet, but I am trying to do the videos.
Absolutely, yeah, no. But where does that realization for you come in that you've had recently, where you were like sort of where you realized you kind of lost the plot a little bit, and it's like, oh man, I'm sort of burnt on this whole lore thing. I need to step away. Where do you find yourself there?
So a big problem with my lore and the way my brain works is I know the beginning of my story and I know the ending, and I know none of what goes in the middle. I know where I want to get to. I know where I'm coming from. I don't know how I'm going to do that. So I'm making everything up and kind of writing 3 episodes in advance. And then I'll change my mind about 1 to 2 episodes into that. And I'm like, okay, now I need to rewrite this. How am I going to do this? It's still going to reach the end goal. But now what am I going to do? So right now it's kind of a new writing phase where I'm like, okay, this needs to work well as a stream, later as a video, but also progress the plot enough where it doesn't feel like I'm just filling the numbers, because mine works in like a chapter format where it's chapter 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. And I know what's going to happen in chapter 1. I know what's going to happen in chapter 2, and I know what's going to happen in chapter 3. I don't want any episodes to feel like filler. So right now I'm trying to pad out the story in a way that makes sense to the viewer and also progresses the story enough, but not too much, because I don't want to reach the end point way too soon. And I'm like, I need more time for that. So I'm taking a step back to write more.
That's great. I think taking a step back is very important. But also I think that like that method of writing, a lot of people frown upon it because it's like, oh, you should like a lot of like people who like imagine that they know what they're talking about at least will tell you that like you should have a full script before you ever start doing anything like production wise whatsoever from beginning to end. And it's like that's not the case.
That's not how my brain works. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like some of the best pieces of media in the world, like Breaking Bad, were produced episode for episode without any real idea of where they were going, other than one like just vibes basically, and one big overarching like we want to take this guy from point A to point B, and so it was very much just that. But again, as somebody with sort of like production knowledge and training for working on like natural productions, I think a lot of people don't give enough credit to content creators, and especially those on Twitch who have to do it live, because like whereas like when those guys over on fucking like Breaking Bad would write themselves into a corner, that episode's not going to be out for a year. They've got another couple weeks to figure out what the fuck is going on there and how to fix it. I gotta be here next week.
We gotta be here like a week. I find that it's actually with someone who's very good at this, and I have no idea how they do it or how they write it this well. It's a streamer called Concha. He's big, like one of the biggest streamers with one of his. Have you heard of Concha before I start explaining it all?
No,
I have absolutely not.
Okay, he's a lore streamer that is big on an SMP called Showtime. He his animator is Curbs. Curbs is animator. And it's recently ending. Split Apart just ended, I think. It might be 2 weeks ago now, maybe a week ago. Awesome ending. I don't know how he did it, because it's such a... He definitely had his rough patches on the start, but towards the end it was like, he was going 2 weeks with a new episode that would have fully animated segments, cutscenes, giant sets that he was in. And it was like, you've done this within 2 weeks, because you would mention that you haven't even got the next one finished. And then you've cracked it out. And it's like, how do you do that? And I wish one day I can get to that level of doing it.
Yeah. That's absurd.
But yeah, definitely recommend him. He's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, people don't give enough credit. People don't give enough credit to that turnaround time, though. Yeah. Just because, like, again, like, most people are just like, oh, man, this isn't, this isn't, like, perfect. This is, like, insanely flawed in big ways. And it's like, imagine you're doing a stage play, but you have to, like, it has an infinite number of acts, and you have to put on a brand new act with new set pieces and, like, new plot points and, like, character arcs going through, and you have to have it written, produced, and ready to show on Friday to a single audience one time, and then it's gone forever. unless you do what you do, where you like stitch it into like a sort of film, or what I do, where you just like shove the VODs in a corner on a YouTube channel. So it's like if you want to catch up, it's all there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also trying to do that, which is also failing. If I go to my VODs channel, I have 0. I started a year and a half ago.
I cry, I sob, because I've been running a VODs channel for almost the entire time my Twitch channels existed. Just because like I never want to lose anything. I'm such a data hoarder when it comes to this sort of thing. I want to have it all like almost exclusively for me, really, more than an audience.
I will say, I've saved it all on Twitch. There's a great feature that I love on Twitch, highlighting. I highlight the whole thing. I highlight the whole thing, and it's saved in its own VODs section back until I think last Christmas. So a year of VODs are now saved, because I went faceless last December, and I was like, okay, everything from January backwards, you are gone. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Which is quite unfortunate, because I have good memories back, just starting. When you're kind of in that 1 to 2 viewer range, it's like, yeah, you have them, but it's chill. It's very chill. You get to interact with your audience a lot more, and it's, I don't know, there was a special moment in it, especially Christmas. Christmas was very fun last year, and that is unfortunately lost. That's a loss to the, I think, apart from like 3, they're lost to the void. I can't.
Oh yeah, that's
what
that's what happened to my channel. Was I fucking assumed that Twitch would keep a lot more of my VODs for a lot longer over time, and then they stopped. And by the time that I found it, it was too late. And now I've kind of lost the drive to save any of them. I kind of have this weird like fucking, well, it's already fucked now.
See, I blame you, Jed.
Yeah.
I blame you for that exclusively. I normally I would feel remorse for somebody in that situation, but you were like, yeah, surely Twitch will hold on to these for me, right? And I was like, no, they won't. They absolutely will not. You've got like 2 weeks. Make sure you get them. And then you were like, no, it says here in like the terms of service that they'll keep as long as I need. Not on the terms of service, but in like a Twitch forum post.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it says that, but I'm as someone with experience, I'm trying to flag you down and warn you, man.
You're not gonna save.
Yeah,
it turns out it was 2 months.
And I've had to eat that.
It wasn't 2
times.
weeks.
Oh,
yeah, it was like it's 2 months for non-affiliates because you can't put ads on them.
Yeah.
And but what was I saying? Oh, right, I was saying that the turnaround time is sometimes a little rough because I'll usually stream, and then at the end of the week I'll go through over the weekend and post everything up to the VODs channel and make a bunch of thumbnails for it and stuff, which aren't hard. I've designed my VOD channel thumbnails and everything about the workflow of posting VODs to ensure that all the VODs get posted, and it's as little work as possible to do it. And so, like, I cry because sometimes I forget over a weekend, which is usually fine. VODs last about 2 weeks, but I'll get it midweek. And I think my current running total of stream VODs lost forever is 3. Over 3 years.
Wow, that's really good.
It used to be 1. It was 1 like 3 months ago. Twitch just like ate a couple for no reason real fast.
Yeah. It's good that you knew about that and you managed to tell each other that, because I had no one who knew that. I had no streamers that I'd get in contact with, no friends that were streamers, and it just was luck basically, because I was tuning into a streamer that I watch all the time called Orange Juice TV, and he was mentioning how he's going to start saving his VODs using the highlighting feature, and I was like, what's the highlighting feature? So I then went back rapidly with like 16 hours left on them and highlighted every VOD I had that day. And if I didn't watch that stream that day, I still wouldn't know probably. And I would have lost all those VODs.
Yeah, they would have been like, gone forever.
Yeah.
Luck just was on your side.
Yeah. So I'm really fortunate about that.
But yeah, I think
you take a question, Jed. No, you take a question.
All right.
Jed. I'll do a question.
Well, I was gonna roll us around to this teaser, and then we'll get to the proper questions afterwards, because I'm sure you have a lot to say about the teaser.
Yeah, I have a lot I can say about the teaser, especially because by the time this goes out, I'll be releasing the teaser the next day, so I can talk a lot about it today.
We're getting an exclusive.
You guys get exclusive for a day.
We have here a limited exclusive fight about it announcement. This is really something special, I think. Yeah, no, it looks really good. It looks really cool. So I figure, right? We'll take a look. We'll do a little Q&A on it. We'll let you blab to your heart's content about this little thing, and then
Yeah,
we'll.
'cause I've had no one to blab about. This has been a secret kept between me and my co-producer, and that is it.
Oh, awesome! I love those sorts
All
of
right.
projects. All right, let's get the video in here. Where did I put it? Oh, there it is.
All aboard. Last call for oh, detective.
Ah, weird. Well, I see a friendly face before I left. Speaking of, didn't realize you'd also be going to the...
No, I wouldn't dare step foot in that place, full of mobsters and gangsters. I'll just send the train anyway. What sends you there?
Oh, you know, just another case. Apparently a murder, I'm sure they just went missing.
Listen, detective, where exactly do you think you're going?
Some city just solve a quick missing persons case and then never thinking about them again.
Oh, detective, this city is one of lies and deceit. No one goes missing. If anyone disappears, they end up in a body bag, so word of advice, detective, for your own safety, keep your nose out of where it doesn't belong, because everyone has a secret they'd do anything to keep in the silent city.
That is my teaser for my next project.
Hell yeah, that looks really good. That looks really good.
That looks great. That looks great. You wanna give us a little like, what the heck did we just see there?
Okay, so that is the teaser for my next project in 2025 that I'm calling Silent City. I've had it codenamed for the past week, so I didn't leak it. Actually, no, last month, so I didn't leak it. Project Spyglass, and it's been funny because I've been teasing this for a while, actually. Because on my Twitter, 10 days ago, I posted a picture of a spyglass. 2 days ago, I changed my Discord status to be a spyglass, and today I posted a YouTube community tab that with just a spyglass, and then this episode comes out on Sunday, which will be the reveal of it. Which was
really
very cool.
Does your I have to ask you, I was doing research. I noticed a lot of this like spyglass theming because I was doing some research last night and a little bit this morning pre-show. You are a blank slate, by the way, on socials. Impossible to find anything out about.
Wow, really? I would not have thought that.
Yeah, but I went on I didn't actually do any post scrolling that much, so it's probably all there. I probably just missed it. But does your Instagram bio have anything to do with this, or is that just a happy coincidence that kind of somewhat lines up theming-wise?
Oh, no, I didn't know I had an Instagram.
It's linked on your link tree. It's right there.
That technically should not be. Oh wow, I forgot I had that linked. I have it on my screen right now. I forgot I linked that. I made that a year ago to reserve the name, and I did not use it.
Wow. Yeah, no, there's nothing on there. But
so if you want to know what that is a reference to, that is actually a reference to the main Law series. That is a teaser for that, because one of my characters that my audience will know about is a rabbit themed character. So I use the rabbit hole wording, which if anyone hasn't seen, it's how far does a rabbit hole really go? What I did is I linked that in with that character who at the time had not been revealed. Thank you for reminding me of that. I did not know that existed for the longest time.
No, yeah, just friendly reminder, you have an Instagram account, and it is currently blank.
There.
Well, at least I've got the name.
Yeah, no, you got the name reserved. That's always nice. I'm lucky enough.
Oh yeah,
and I feel like Jeddy's too, to some extent. Lucky enough to have a unique enough username that I don't really have to. And by unique, I mean I've got numbers. Most people don't like to have numbers, and so like having numbers is fantastic. Because it means that most people aren't going to steal your username or snipe it out from under you.
Yeah.
That fucking 3, dude. That's going for me.
Yeah, that 3 is holding up. It's not the underscore dead center.
It's not the underscore or the period or the MP. It's just the 3.
Yeah, just that.
It's
3.
really helping me up.
It's hanging you on. It's hanging you on. But no, yeah, this teaser is what we were talking about.
Yes.
Other than like keeping it this big secret, what else about the production can you tell us?
Okay. Well, I can tell you a decent amount that was shown in the teaser. I can tell you a little bit. So
Awesome. Walk us through it.
Okay, so the original idea was from the series White Pine. I'm assuming everyone has heard of that at some point over this last year.
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen anything about it.
Honestly, I'd watch it. It's very good. So
it's been on my watch list. I've been hearing a lot about it from podcast guests, funnily enough.
So I watched that and I fell in love with it. I'd never seen a series like that. And I was like, okay, well, my lore is kind of taking a backseat at the minute. And I very much like to plan my stuff out in advance. I feel like I need to try and because actually my original plan, if streaming does not work out, my original plan was to go into the entertainment industry, like behind the camera. So I was like, okay, what if I take a project and I scrap my live view from my POV and let's rig the camera up as if it's physically watching the world? What would that be? And I started going through the different genres because no one wants to just take another person's idea. So I was like, I'm not going to do the White Pine period. I'm not going to do the same thing. I'm going to look through this. And it's actually relating to a game that's coming out next year that I'm very excited for. It's called Mouse PI for Hire. And I looked at that first trailer and I was like, yes, I love that game. I'm very excited for it. So I'm like, let's go with a noir look. Because I always love that type of style, turning the camera black and white, having it a bit grainy, and that kind of mystery. So I then started writing the script of what it would be. And I mean, the script making progress. My second producer probably hates me because I have yet again changed the script many times because I'll be like just having a walk, sitting in my chair, and I'll just like write the ending just in about 10 minutes. And I'm like, there's the ending. And I'll tell it to them and they're like, how do you do that just sitting in your chair in 10 minutes? I couldn't do that if I was given a week.
I get you. But nobody could ever force me to do it. I feel the exact same way, but it's like, even myself, I could not find the motivation to do it if I needed to write an ending for a thing right fucking now. But like,
I
get a shower, I take a sit down, it's there.
It's big shower thoughts is this story. I had the thought and I still did not write it down. I just made the teaser because that's a big thing I'll find where I'll write the ending, I'll write the start, I'll write the lore. Will I write it down on a document? No, I'll hope it stays in my head. And I'm praying it does. I really need to get into the habit of writing things down.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, I feel you.
Yeah.
I absolutely feel you on that. But the thing about it is mysteries, in a lot of cases, are... It seems like, based on what I know about your workflow, that it could be very detrimental or very, like, in your favor. Because with a mystery, obviously, you have to know the answer first and work backwards, kind of.
Yeah.
To write a mystery that will keep an audience engaged. But... and you seem to have get the solution down.
I have
How's working backwards going for you?
Okay, I was going to say something, but I can't say it because then people will guess it. The ending, I thought of with a shower thought, and I now, from that, have decided to go backwards, but in a weird way of like, I know the ending, I now know where I want to hit it, and I'm writing very much out of order. I probably know an episode that's like episode 3. I know about episode 7. It's probably going to end about episode 10 or 12. And then we've got episode 1, which is kind of the introduction where he'll be arriving. I can talk a bit about episode 1 because the teaser kind of gives it away a bit. So episode 1, he'll kind of arrive in the city after talking to this conductor guy who, big shout outs to Wade Box. That was the voice actor, if you didn't recognize it. So after talking to that character, you kind of get the idea that this city is a place no one wants to go to. This naive detective knows nothing of what he's getting into, but everyone around him has a massive idea, like knows this place. This name has a reputation to the point where no one wants to say it. Like even uttering it is like, I really shouldn't be talking about this.
Right.
which is why I thought it was the perfect setting when I came up with it for a detective, because the detective is constantly wanting to look for clues to solve a mystery. But how do you do that in a city where no one wants to talk, where everyone is lying to you? So
yeah,
I
where
think
you
that
can't
could be
get
a very
any answers
interesting
about
point.
anything.
Yeah. So the big thing is Silent City. If you know a mystery, if you know something, you've witnessed something, you don't talk about that, or else you are not going to be found the next day.
For sure, for
Okay.
sure. I think that's really interesting. But the thing that interests me the most is what you were talking about like this being a project where you're instead of having the audience like with you through your eyes, in your POV, you're sort of divorcing them from that sort of lifeline and freeing the camera to sort of be a cinematic instead.
Yeah. Because
And
I-
that I feel like a lot of lore, especially on like servers, ends up being dependent on who you watch. It could be very comedic or it could be the most dramatic story possible. And like there's a lot in between, and it mostly depends on how it's framed by the streamer. And so I have to wonder, like, now you have to do all that framing like a rational normal production.
yeah. I have to be
How's
thinking as if
that
I'm a
sort
normal
of learning
person.
curve?
So I actually kind of prefer it because I can set up the scene beforehand. A lot of mods I'm using for the first time, which help me so much. I think it's flashback, motion capture.
Oh yeah, flashback.
Motion capture has been a great friend that I'm going to use because it lets you capture yourself and then play it back. So I'm like, I can have scenes with multiple characters without needing the body actors, so I can keep this as much as a secret as possible.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
you're
cool.
your own body actor.
Yeah, I was going to use it in the teaser, but then I realized in a place called Silent City, would you really have people walking around just randomly?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Because you have that one character who I'm debating whether I should drop the name as a podcast exclusive yet, or if I should wait for the series, because the series will reveal his name.
Right.
So I will. I don't know about that one. So we'll just call him.
Yeah, we'll leave it.
Yeah, just call him the guy.
The guy.
The guy. But
So
yeah. What about the guy?
the guy, let's just say there's a reason he's there. There's a reason the lines that are said line up with the parts that he's shown in. And I'm just gonna say this. I'm not telling you should or you shouldn't, but maybe look at the teaser a bit closer when it comes out fully.
Right.
That's all I'm gonna say with regarding the guy.
All right.
Absolutely. But yeah, no, regarding the guy, absolutely. I think that beyond the guy, broad strokes, I think the aesthetic of the teaser was immaculate. I liked that sort of that sort of rolling smoke effect you had throughout. It was playing hell with the bitrate of the video, but it does look good. It does look really good.
It does look good, yeah.
Thank you.
But
yeah,
there was a lot of that, and I feel like the emptiness of it. I feel like excluding having extras in the shot really played it well, just because I feel like the emptiness of it really gave that sort of everyone's peeking out the window blinds at the new guy kind of like dead ghost town vibe. And it really worked. I think it worked really well. It was a very good teaser. Enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah.
But yes,
I'm looking forward to the whole thing.
Horror vibes. If you're into that stuff, horror is going to be quite a big thing in that series. Let's just say you don't want to encounter the guy. And also test audiences, my second producer, I didn't even intend for it, but certain parts of that teaser genuinely scared them when it wasn't meant to. So I think I'm already off to a good start.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. That has to be the single greatest thing about making anything, period. I usually work in laughs, I usually trade in laughs, but being able to get an honest, genuine reaction out of an audience member at all, even if it's just one, is like, oh, that's why you do it.
It was so satisfying.
It makes
happened twice, two different sections.
Right.
One time wasn't even meant to be scary. It was just the fog.
It really makes the hours of like ruining your posture and like hunching and slaving over a fucking Adobe Premiere document like that much better. Just like that's what it's all for, you know?
Yeah, I would say it's been very helpful this week. I need more things to premiere teasers on because I've never worked so hard with the stress of this podcast coming up. I've never worked quicker to produce such a good piece of media.
Yeah, before we started, you were like, "Yeah, I'm kind of nervous about the podcast," and I was like, "This is the most casual thing I've ever done. This is kind of just sitting down and recording for like
well, for
2
us,
hours."
Jed, you have to think it is
Yeah.
it is a unique difference because for us, it's very much like I don't know. I'm just gonna sit down and talk to Jed, and there might be a third person there, depending on if it's a guest episode or not. But otherwise,
Yeah.
this is something that I do on the daily. I don't, this time it just happens to be recorded for 2 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So
so
imagining
people
it-
I've watched, listened to for like 30 times, and I'm now going to be there and hope that
Oh,
people enjoy
man.
my episode.
It's starting to like I think God, who was it, Jed? Somebody described being on the show as genuinely a little bit surreal. For
Really?
having
I
listened to because somebody was talking about it off. It was
Was
off
it
show.
Abens?
Were you there for that? I don't know. It was off show. But
I don't
somebody
know.
described
I
it
was
as
probably
genuinely surreal because like they listened to a lot of the podcast recently. They weren't like a long listener. They were somebody who picked it up like a week ago and it just like barreled through 20 odd episodes and like then showed up and it's like, well, I'm here now. What?
Glad to know I'm not the only person who kind of did that.
Yeah. No, it's
'Cause I
it's a
actually-
thing that happens.
I've been on a journey, Vox. I think I told you about it, where I have a class
Oh, yeah.
in college that I despise. I'm just going to come out and say I despise this class. It is law, and I've had the podcast queued up every single Monday, just listening to whatever the next episode is, and it gets me through that class. And it has been perfect, and
Yeah.
I'm so glad I break up for Christmas tomorrow because I can't listen to this episode on Monday because I can't listen to myself for 2 hours.
I've had we've had several people say that where it's like, oh yeah, I would watch this episode, but I can't. I refuse to.
Avens shared a similar
Um,
sentiment when we had the one a couple weeks ago post-recording of like the only thing I'm not happy with about this recording is that I don't get an episode this week because
Yeah.
I'm in this one. I already listened to
missed
it.
a week. No, I can't listen. It's like but I'm in it.
You're in it. You're
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. The thing about the podcast production is just crazy. The amount of people in my day to day, which is weird because it's obviously run my social circle very fast.
Oh yeah.
And so there are a lot of people in my day to day who are just like, or people who like, God, oh man, I don't think I want to say a name for this, but I was genuinely intimidated by somebody like socially, not like they were intentionally intimidating me, but like just like I don't know if I want to interact with this person. I'm real iffy on like saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing and being out of my element. And then they came to me and were like, dude, you have no idea. The podcast is helping me through like the most boring part of my day easily. And the amount of people who have shared that kind of sentiment is great, but it's also weird. It's also weird.
It's
because
real
like, dude,
surreal for us.
I've talked to you like once. What do you mean you've like you know me better than I know you? You've put me on a like
yeah,
I can't decide if this is an advantage or I'm put on the back foot by it,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. How could I
Yeah.
ever withstand when like the person that we're interacting with knows that Vox likes the Bandit more than Cowboys? Like,
Yeah.
We don't need to
I-
talk about that. We don't need to go off
I was
about that for another hour.
Like listeners kind of know you guys, but it's some very niche and unique things. Like
yeah.
I brought this up to you. I brought this up to you before. I think it was like on stream maybe. But
Yeah,
one of my favorite
I think so.
episodes of the podcast was the debate about buffet food versus restaurant food.
Mhm.
I definitely know some weird facts after that, but I definitely know the facts now.
So, okay. So do you want to know the funny thing about that episode? That episode we went into ready to like kind of fight about. Like, of course we went into it ready to fight about because it was our argument episode.
Yeah, Argupalooza.
But
Yeah, we prepped a bunch of arguments and whatnot. That one went way long.
I didn't really think about. I don't really care about buffets. I'm not all that interested in them. I was
breaking
just
the illusion,
like,
Jed.
I am. I
Breaking it.
know, but I we're talking about production. I don't give a shit about buffets at all. I just was like so ready to argue because it was like that's what we're doing today.
It was
So it made a
genuinely
very
relief.
interesting part. It made a very interesting part of the podcast that will be remembered. as long as you remember that episode.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I appreciate that. But it's, again, looping back around, it's just production, you know? And it's crazy how mundane these things can get, how fast, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, personally, I don't know, Corruptin, I'm gonna ask you a question that I probably already know the answer to, based on how everyone else in my life is responding to this question. How busy has your December been?
Surprisingly, my December has not been that busy so far. I feel like it's about to get
lucky.
busier, but the way I handle Christmas is, I'm assuming you refer to Christmas there, with why it's so hectic.
Oh yeah, that
just in
and
general.
I've had like a weird month, and it feels like
Same.
everybody I interact with, who I try to schedule things with, is like, I don't know, man, I'm having a weird month, and so it's like, oh, thank God I'm not alone. But
I've definitely had that interacting with other people, but personally, myself has not been that affected by it. Especially with Christmas coming up, I thought I'd be more affected, but I have a good system of doing things. I don't have to really worry about the prep for Christmas right now, because it's a big thing, especially with my family, where it's like, we don't want to get each other things we don't want, so the others will get it, and we just pay for it, and it puts a lot of stress off a lot of people's back.
Mhm.
yeah,
So
nice.
this
Yeah,
month's been
Vox.
very less stressful.
Look,
Fox
Jed,
is giving
some
me
of
shit
us-
about not liking
Jed
surprises.
doesn't like surprises. He doesn't like to
You
be
don't?
surprised.
Oh.
even
I
if it's something he
despise
wants.
surprises.
He hates it. I don't get it. I'm like trying to exposure therapy him into enjoying it, because like when Christmas comes around, your gift is sitting there and it's not gonna be open till Christmas, you bastard. Because he told me about this. He told me he has never. Can you believe this? He has never once waited until Christmas Day to open a gift.
No,
once.
not in the
Never.
past 5 years. I have.
I thought you said not
like
ever.
since I was a kid. No, just not like since I've become like a quote unquote adult.
Okay,
Like
well,
everybody
that's
in my
different.
family.
That's way
Okay,
different.
well,
I also
yeah.
don't
So
open a lot of my
not to
gifts on
open it.
Christmas Day in that case, because like, you know, well, I still do, but like the option is available to me if I wanted to open them early, just because it's like, yeah, you fucking, who cares, dude? You're like 20. Do your
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, like Vox came onto my stream yesterday and was like, fucking, here, take this, and sent me a screenshot of somebody's Discord with like both of their names blurred out, and it just says like, oh yeah, don't tell Jed, or don't tell Jed though, it'd be funny to surprise him with it, and somebody else saying
Just to
bet.
stress you out. I'm
And
like,
and I was just like,
It's
what the
coming.
fuck, Vox? You can't just do this to me.
The funniest
playing
thing is
Portal
he'll never
1
see
right
it
now.
coming. He'll never see it coming.
That's
I
know exactly
perfect.
what
I'm
it
gonna be
is.
honest, I'm on Vox's side with that. That's hilarious.
It's gonna.
It
The thing
bugs
is,
the
it's
shit
something
out of
so
me.
inconsequential though that he's gonna see it, and then when he sees it, he's not gonna like when he acknowledges the thing, he's not gonna know that that was the thing.
Oh, you
Like,
didn't even tell him. Oh,
Like I'm gonna tell him a little while later, but
Mhm.
he'll know by Monday. He'll know by Monday.
okay.
By Monday, okay.
By Monday,
Uh,
yeah.
But surprises like that make me nauseous. Like I'm serious on that front of just like I don't like surprises at all. And like
Shit,
Christmas
get
is
sick.
yeah, I guess. Fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not big on surprises, and I'm there with you on like Christmas Day. Oh yeah, we'll just buy gifts that, you know, I want from somebody else, or send
Yeah.
people gifts that I want.
Yeah,
just
I
to
think,
like
I think
make
that's
things
honestly
less
the best way to do
complicated.
it. I think that's the best way to do
Yeah.
it. 'Cause
Yeah.
you're not then getting things, and it's like, thank you. I have this
Ooh,
thing
you're
now.
gonna be in
And
my
it's like,
garage.
I want this thing. Can I have this? I know I have to wait, but at least I know what it is.
Yeah.
Because I still have
Yeah,
that. I
no.
still enjoy waking up on Christmas, being like, I have things.
Oh, yeah.
How are you for the Christmas season in terms of like enjoying it? Are you more of a Christmas
I-
person or like a Halloween person or?
I enjoy Christmas. I enjoy the vibe. I will say I'll be enjoying it a lot more in a day because I'll be officially done with college and I won't have to worry about that anymore.
Oh.
So that'll be perfect. And then I can just chill for the rest of the time because I actually am going to enjoy. Because I have till Christmas, which I'm kind of taking as like a down period where I'm streaming a lot less, mainly because of this teaser, unintentionally. But then immediately after Christmas, I've decided to do something that probably others will find stupid, but I enjoy it. I'm doing a
Oh.
subathon immediately after Christmas.
Oh wow!
Nice.
Yep. That's my plan.
Nice. Subathons are a good time.
Yeah.
Subathons are a great time. Subathons are a really great time. Dark recently had a subathon, and
Yes.
I've been kind of like haha funny giving them shit about it. Not to their face, weirdly enough. But just in general, because like I'll hear news about it and I'll go, "What? Dark's going to bed? What do you mean? Subathon?" And they were like, "I gotta go to bed." Like I tuned into their stream and they were like, "I gotta go to bed, Chet. I have to."
Yeah.
And then like I feel like I just caught them at bad moments because I came in right before they were going to bed, and then I came in when they were away getting a tattoo. No, those were the other way around.
I had moments like that, definitely. I'd come into the stream and it's like, Dark's in bed. Dark's away. Dark's out somewhere. It's like, it's a subathon without Dark. It's just the athon.
Oh yeah.
It's just the athon at this point. But it did. I have to give them credit where credit is due. They did go like 2 weeks of
Yeah,
like,
they
streaming
lasted a
every day,
while.
all day for it before they put a cap on it.
Cap it, yeah. I will say it would have been very funny, and I feel like it's the one thing that I was like, I don't know if that's how subathon should be done, but honestly, no disrespect to them, I understand it. They paused the timer whenever they went to bed or weren't at the computer. And it was like,
I appreciate that.
I can understand that, but personally, I would just can't do that. If I was doing my subathon, I'd be like, I can't pause the timer no matter what. If I'm going out for a meal, it stays on. If it ends, it ends. The mods will do that. I'm very dedicated to the bit of it is a timer. It hits 0. The stream is done. There is no exception to that rule, which is probably stupid, but it's how I like to play.
Subathons are like that. No big thanks or anything. You just like look down, notice that you have like a minute left, and go, "Oh, thanks everybody for coming. Bye." Bam, done.
Yeah.
Immediately on the 0.
Somebody's gonna like
instantly.
Somebody's gonna like break into your house and the timer's still going and you're still live and it's like, oh. Thank you for the 3 gifted
like,
subs.
Carrying the TV away in the background.
Eyes do not come off the monitor. Someone's robbing you. Nah, later. I'll sort it out.
Yeah.
Like TV, as long as I have my monitors, it's fine.
Chat, what do I do? As if you could see chat without a monitor.
Let's run a poll. Should I stop the intruder?
Run a poll to if I'm allowed to get up and stop them from stealing from me. Oh my god. Oh wow. But the thing about pausing the timer and going to sleep, I don't mind it. I think it's fine. I mean, everybody needs a rest at some point.
Oh yeah.
But the thing about Dark Subathon that really got me was you just left your stream going with, even if they are trusted friends. I wouldn't leave Jed with my chat for like 8 hours.
What?
Oh,
like,
I
don't have like
I do.
10 closest friends I would trust to take over for me while I'm sleeping. I don't, and that's less to do with like I'm just very protective of like my digital footprint and where I'm at. And so like when I hit go live, I am very acutely aware that I am live the entire time. Like it's just in the back of my brain, and I cannot like I'm like tense the whole time a little bit because like it's showtime, go, But like even for like BRBs where I get up, I go to the bathroom, I grab a water or whatever. I'm still just like I feel like a boxer between rounds where it's like I sit down for like 3 seconds and then I gotta go back.
As quick as you can.
Yeah. But like I could not sleep with a stream going. Period. It would not happen. So that's absolutely otherworldly to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is I only had to leave it for one night because I've done a subathon once back in the summer to kind of test out my first subathon, and the timeout only went for I think it was 19 hours in total. So I had to leave them for one night, and I left them with my most trusted mods and my best friend. And I was like, I'll be watching for an extra like hour. I won't be typing, so you won't know I'm there, but I will be watching. And then after like an hour and a half, I'm like, you can definitely be trusted. I'm going to go to bed. And I slept great. Woke up the next morning. And unsurprisingly, they'd all gone to bed. And I woke up and I sounded like I just died and came back from the dead. So that was pretty fun. So I'm hoping maybe Christmas can go, the Christmas one can go to New Year's, because that'll be great celebration. Wow. Whoa, I made it to 2025.
5 days.
Yeah. Hoping.
Imagine getting up from your desk at like 10 minutes to midnight, 5 minutes to midnight on like New Year's Eve and going like, all right, Chad, I'll see you next year. And then coming back like 5 minutes later and it's like, hey, Happy New Year.
Hello. If anyone from my audience sees this and I do that, you know where I got the idea.
Yeah, it's a really
Get
good
up,
idea.
5
It's a
minutes.
once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah.
gotta.
See, I have a really big hobby called taking bits from Vox. You're
yes.
welcome to join me on it.
Yeah, seems like a good idea.
Oh
Yeah.
man, believe me,
Huh?
feel free. I got bits coming out of my ears, man. They're everywhere. I can't get rid of them. Um.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well,
But
on New Year's, I'll get up, walk away, and then come back. And then be like, that was a
Yeah.
great walk. Hi, how are you enjoying 2025 so far? It's been a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, well-
I love big celebrations like that. I love things like New Year's. I don't know about you, but I love New Year's and Christmas and whatnot because
Mhm.
those are the times to slip away. Like you could be with family, sure, but like
Yeah.
everybody's with family and everybody's busy and it's just the best time for like unironically, it's just like the best time to like step outside and just like hang out for a second in the quiet.
Yeah, I used
you
to.
know?
I used to have it for like I think it's until the past 2 years where I always used to go downstairs, watch the countdown with my family, and then come back upstairs and continue what I'm doing. The past, I think 2 years, I've had a tradition with my best friend who I spoke about twice now. Where
Right.
I'll probably show him this podcast because it's the only time I've mentioned it since last year.
Mhm.
Where we have a tradition where do you know the song "Country Roads"?
Oh god,
Yeah?
We will
Yeah, I'm
queue
aware.
up that song. This is a tradition we started before I started streaming, and when we found it hilarious, we keep doing it.
Mhm.
So we will queue up that song exactly before midnight, and we will sing the year away. Terribly,
Aw.
but we'll sing the year away.
Why
Oh, that's
country
great.
roads?
We have a bit where I don't remember where it started, but I think it was we loved the scene from. I don't remember the original bit, but the
The-
bit came back later, and I still have this as a stream redeem. Where one of my favorite films from the past few years, because I only recently saw it, was the second Kingsman film,
Oh yeah.
and there's a scene
with,
in
like,
that.
the landmine
Very
and whatnot, yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So that is now a stream redeem where if you have, I think it's like 50,000 points, you can just replace the stream with that clip until it's finished. So,
Oh my god.
so what we've done is we listened to that one time around New Year's, and we were like, why don't we just wait for the clock to tick over while singing that? Because it's such a silly, stupid scene. Like, not even the original. Oh, I remember where it's from. The original bit was my friend absolutely loved Fallout, and the song was used a lot in Fallout, apparently. I've still
Yeah.
Fallout
never
New
played
Vegas.
Fallout.
Fucking
Hold my hand up.
76.
Never played Fallout. Need to.
It's good. It's a good time.
Yeah, Fallout's pretty good.
Yeah.
I watched the show.
I've got. See, our New Year's got like sad pretty quick because we had a big
Oh,
group
man.
of friends, and then we stopped having a big group of friends, and then we were just
Oh.
hanging out in VR chat in like
We
an
had one of
empty
those
world, and we were
things
just like,
where
okay.
like we used to have a group of like, yeah, I've got 10 close friends and they all have their own friend groups as well, so they're gonna bring all
Mhm.
their own people, and we'll fill like a 50-person instance, and we'll all hang out, and it'll all be friends and friends of friends, and it'll be fantastic. You meet new people, you intermingle and whatnot.
Yeah.
Guaranteed to be a good time. And then less and less people showed up to those every year, and it
Oh.
slowly became a tradition where I and a lot of other people, I would get the drunkest out of anybody, but I would drink,
Yeah.
I would drink till I couldn't drink anymore, and then I'd wake up the next morning to like some horrific news about a friend, one way or the other.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's just like
I'll
I'll wake up and I'll go like, oh man, Jay, that was a great night, wasn't it? And I'll go, no, it wasn't. What do you mean?
Yeah, no, but like genuinely, that's happened like 3 years in a row now, and I've called fucking New Year's a mulligan. I don't give a shit about New Year's anymore. I'm just like, New Year's makes me sad. Moving on.
New
This is a
Year
tradition.
time is going too quick. Please stop it. Yeah.
This is a tradition we started and about getting everybody together primarily, Jed. I don't know if you know this, but we did it primarily because the first year, because you said you had bad like memories associated with
Yeah.
New Year's, and so we were like, we can fix that. We're gonna all get together every New Year, and we're gonna hang out, and we're gonna have a great time, and we're gonna cure Jed's trauma or whatever. Oh, if only we were right. We only
Yeah.
made
Yeah.
more.
And the worst part is that all of my quote unquote trauma of it before was just like I was just a very severely depressed person at the time, and I was just like, I don't know, I don't
This
want
is
the time to
worse.
continue. So it's just gotten worse because
Oh.
now it's been associated with actual bad memories. Yeah.
We've just made
Oh,
it
no.
worse. Oh, that's great. I love making things worse.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Oh man.
Oh man.
But no, you were
But
talking
New Year's
about
is rolling around really quick.
New Year's is coming.
It's very soon.
Yeah, but you were talking about bits and how like sometimes an in joke happens and you just forget where it's from. You just absolutely
Yeah.
lose it. You know, it's the thread has been broken. We are beyond the pale. This bit is just
Yep.
what it is now.
The bit is still
You know?
there. If you asked for the origin, I could never tell you.
Yeah,
it's
no possible
know.
way anybody could discern this, but it's there.
yeah. Those are some of my favorites, honestly, and I hate it because we the two of us have like a backlog of those, and sometimes we break them out in times we shouldn't, like
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
stream or on the show, and it's like nobody's ever gonna get that. Nobody's ever gonna get that. That's just for us.
Nobody could possibly
say, I think-
understand that.
I think my favorite bit from you two has to be the old man laugh.
The
Oh,
old man.
the old
laugh?
man laugh
Yeah.
is solid.
That's a great bit. I like that bit.
Yeah. I can't even remember. That came from Vox and I just have a habit of being on the same wavelength. Somebody was watching a Muppets movie and was like, "These guys are like you guys. They're like you. With you guys
Yeah.
will just fucking laugh at like whatever
Yes.
is going on together for no reason." And
You guys
Vox is
are
like,
Waldorf
"You got an
and
old
Statler,
man
yeah.
laugh?" And I was like, "Sure."
We old man laughed together. It was great.
That was how that started. Was just on like a whim of like being on the same wavelength for a
Yeah.
split second.
Oh,
It stuck around. It's a great bit.
yeah, no, it's a good bit. I do want to talk about last episode's ending, though, Jed. You want to talk about last episode's ending with me?
Yeah.
About how okay, so for anyone who didn't tune in last week, that episode's pretty good. I recommend it. But for anybody who didn't tune in last week, we sort of tried to do the inverse of the old man laugh bit, and my idea was exactly how it turned out in the final product, where I was like, Jed, you want to like baby laugh with me instead? And he was like, that's horrible. I don't want to do that. And I was like, no, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it on 3, right? 1, 2, 3, and I hit stop recording right
And
on
it stopped,
3.
yeah.
And then Jed did it. He did it for like a split second. He committed.
Well, I wasn't
Even
gonna
though he
leave
really
you
didn't wanna.
hanging.
Oh,
Well, yeah, I appreciate you not leaving me to look like an idiot, but in turn, I the plan was to make you kind of look like an idiot for a second.
Well, well, I look like an idiot in front of you all the time. Yesterday you told me that it is a shock that you can still operate your lungs with your brain functioning like amount. I was like, that's fucked. That's fucked. That's mean. Mean as hell.
I don't know.
And this
You
is the most
probably
like
deserved
benign thing. I didn't. I think I had asked what the name of like the portal core that reads out the cake ingredients. I was like, is it just called the cake core? And Vox was like, yes, it's just called the cake core, you fucking
There's
dumbass.
more to it than that. You were listening to this thing. You sat and you stared at it, list off like cake ingredients, and you just went, "Is this one the cake core? Is this one the one that's specifically for making cake?" And I was like, "Yes, it is. It's doing nothing but reading you cake ingredients. Why wouldn't it be that one?" You know? And then you retconned yourself a little bit and like moved the goalposts on me. And went, "No, I was just saying, is it called the cake core?" And it's like, "No, that's totally
That's
not
what I
meant.
meant the whole
That's
time,
100%
though.
not what you
It's not a
fucking meant.
retcon. It is 100% what I meant. I
That's
can't
not
believe
what
you.
meant. I don't know, man.
I cannot
but-
believe you. This is the first
but
time we've
looping
had a
back
guest
around.
episode where we've actually fought.
Yeah,
I just
we're
realized-
Hey,
fighting a little
I'm
bit on
loving
this
it.
guest episode.
Keep it up.
I don't like to make a habit of making our guests look like children of divorce, where we're just like shouting past them, because that's the great
Yeah.
thing about this setup is guest
Oh.
in the middle means we're just like shouting over the table at like past you at each other.
Like a
Hiding in the
goddamn
corner, please
family
stop
dinner.
fighting.
Quit it. But no, yeah, you're a tester for POW Creations for things like Rats SMP. How was that?
Yes.
How does that go?
That is very fun. Also a pain. Don't know how much I can talk about. It's been a nightmare. I think it's
Oh.
just a me problem though, because we have like a mod pack for it. Yeah, it just wants to hate me. Everyone else that does it, absolutely fine. Me, I have to load up the pack, turn off my internet, turn it back on while the
Wow.
pack is still loaded, and I'll get in once.
Wow.
I
That-
don't know
you're
why I
once?
can't resolve the problem. So I grit my teeth and bear it. because it's the most fun I've probably had doing anything.
It
Oh,
always
man.
turns out like that, doesn't it? The most fun stuff is like our
The
setup
most
to do
painful.
this. Yeah.
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 But
Yeah.
yes, I do really love it, especially the seeing behind the scenes. I knew I'd like that, but I've enjoyed it more than I thought I would. And
Yeah, a little peek behind
I've
the
also
curtain.
been in a few memorable bits that I still don't know if I can say, but I assume not, because NDAs are painful.
Yeah, I would
So,
err on
yeah.
the side of caution personally, but
yeah.
I'd love to hear more.
Yeah.
I'm
if
allowed
you
to talk
have any
about when
more
it's
about that.
finished, but unfortunately it's not finished yet. So I can
Right.
we've been allowed to talk about the previous project, which was a plushie event that we tested through, which was very
Oh.
fun. That's all finished. It was a Minecraft event that was teamed up with Makeship, and we got to test that I think like almost every day. And watching the streamers then come on and live stream it all was the most satisfying thing ever, because it's like we've tested this for so long and it works flawlessly, and it was so
Yeah.
good. And now we're having a similar thing with rats, where we're getting to test it. This, of course, I'm treading a very thin line, so I'm talking very little about it.
Oh no,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Seeing us do the things in private and then seeing the streamers do it or something very similar has been very rewarding and probably put the most smiles on my face, that just seeing them react to it.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
No,
that's always
yeah.
fun when you get to see somebody else react to it.
I can sneak this in. If anyone's watching that has seen rats, you've probably seen me, but I can't say where.
Huh.
I have got
All right.
DMs of people watching streams that have noticed me in the corner, and I'm like, can't say anything. Nope. No, I'm not going to respond to that DM.
Yeah.
Not allowed to talk
Yeah.
about it. It's
Not
so
allowed
funny.
to.
It's so funny being in that situation because it's like, oh yeah, is this you? And it's like, can't say. I genuinely
Can't say.
can't say.
Can't say it is, can't say it isn't. Just keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, I got a
Yeah.
phone.
Even though it's like
Rats
your
SMP.
name is right, there, and that's your skin. It's like, not me. It's not me. Sorry.
Oh, that's you. It's like,
Nope.
I don't recognize
Nope.
him. You know,
It doesn't look familiar. I haven't noticed him before.
never seen that guy. That handsome stranger. I think you should just let him go about his business. Not me.
Yeah, we've had one big fumble, which I got a lot of DMs because of. We had a glitch happen where we were meant to be disguised and we weren't. So the entirety of one person's stream, I was just visible as myself.
Oh.
And the worst
That's
part,
unfortunate.
it was probably the biggest critter on the SMP.
Oh no!
It was I'm assuming a Tubbo.
Oh.
Not our fault.
Man.
He arrived late. He was 15 minutes
because
late.
with some of those disguise plugins, they only work on like a client basis, and so it's like you set it once when everybody's in, and then it's good to go. Know this.
So, and I just happened to be the unlucky one where it was like, oh, it doesn't do it to all of us, just one of us. So the whole time, no one was watching him, and it was like, and he kept repeating, "Why do I see a demon child?" I'm like, I'm gonna assume you mean the cat. That's it. And then we watched it back afterwards, and it's like, no, that's just me.
Oh, that's
great.
Oh, it's rough.
And we're like, luckily no one else got it. Luckily no one else got it, and we've fixed it now. So we have precautions in place. So people are like, is that you? And I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Nope, that's totally not me. Never has been, never will be.
Oh, that's rough.
It's good to know that and the best part is that VOD is up.
A mistake.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that was probably the day I was most nervous to be like, we got to bring it up to them. It's a bug. We got to bring it up. And it's like, but it's me. It's happened to me, and that's all public now. It's like, I don't want to. I don't want to bring that up to them. It's like, I kind of have to.
Yeah, but nobody would
luckily,
blame you.
Luckily, nothing got brought up. They just fixed the bug. Well, they tried.
Well, they tried. Of course, and that's all any of us can do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But no, I got a bone to pick. I was like, oh man. The first time I heard about Rats SMP was like, I think it was a while ago. But I was like, oh shit, Rats SMP, that's cool. Check that out. They're not even all rats. Just a bunch of big content creators masquerading.
Yeah,
My culture is not your costume.
But they missed out not having Vox on. I can't
imagine
having the actual rat.
I'm not even mad that I'm not in there. I'm just mad that they're not all rats. I mean, they are all rats, but they're not.
They got the ears, the noses, and the tails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Kind
about
of.
it.
I don't know.
Well, it is really cool because they use custom player models now to get like them being 3D, which is really cool. Before it was just
they
like
are doing some
painted
sick
on.
stuff over there. I do like the actual product. Jokes aside,
Yeah,
I think
shout
the
out
actual
to,
content is pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's a creator in the Littlewood has done all of them apparently. All the CPM models, and it's like, oh my god, he's great at it. I wish I knew what he could do.
Every SMP needs like a fucking needs like a CPM like mastermind. Because having somebody who's good at that kind of thing, who's willing to help out is great, because it's like you can just walk up to them and go, "Hey, I need like this. Can we have this?" And and they're perfectly willing. I keep turning them down about things because it's like I'm gonna learn CPM. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna learn it. And I keep putting it off. I genuinely sat down for like 5 minutes and was like, this is gonna be like a task. I need to like give this a weekend or something instead of 5 minutes.
Wait,
you know?
So you're telling me that this has been on your list and you went, C#. I'm gonna learn C# instead of CPM.
Okay, it's less work. It's genuinely less work.
No way. No way. Learning a coding language is
it's
less.
all text. I don't have to like draw anything or like model anything. It's so much easier.
Yeah. I've had a similar situation with that with Minimator. I have always wanted to use it. I've always wanted to do cool animations. Never wanted to learn it. I always just was like, Cubs, please, can I commission you? And it's like, yeah. But then I'm like, what about small stuff? I'm not rich. I can't afford this. So I finally bit the bullet doing actually the project we've just announced. The thumbnail for that is my first time ever using Minimator, and it's me pausing the guy.
Right. Yeah.
To like actually, because Minecraft is very limiting, especially with its movement.
Oh,
so the big scene in that is him turning around and facing the camera. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go in and animate this so he actually looks like he's kind of looking over his shoulder, and I think it went pretty well. I think it went really well for a first time doing it.
No, yeah, I'm real glad, because posing is a good way to get into Minimator, I think. But it's really like animation is its own thing in a lot of ways. And posing is a good introductor to just like, hey, here's how you do this. If you can pose a model, you've basically done all you need to do for the basics of animation. You just need to pose it over and over again on a timeline, basically.
Yeah.
And of course, there's more to it
like
than
stop
that.
motion.
But like, yeah, that's the bare minimum. Yeah. And once you get that, it's really not that hard to figure out the rest. It's a task. But the thing that I'm like slowly getting used to with animation is cheating. just overtly cheating perspective in every way possible with Minecraft characters, because I keep rationalizing to myself, like, if this was like a normally proportioned human model, I could probably do this just fine. But this is a Minecraft model. This thing's made out of like 6 cuboids, dude. I'm gonna have to like squash and stretch a little bit to get this to look right from like camera perspective.
I feel that.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely that sort of a problem of like, oh, I really have to like play around with this a little bit. It's genuinely, I have a lot of like little projects that end up like, they're just like renders, like singular renders, or like small animations where it's like, do you know that Scout TF2 image of like the like running and like grabbing pose, and then they zoom out and like the hand is like 4 feet in front of the face, and like the arm is like stretched insanely just out of frame?
Okay, I didn't know the image. I've just Googled it now. I know similar things. I know what you mean, because I follow an account that does the same thing with Sonic characters.
Yeah, it's absolutely just like a thing that, like, man, this looks fucked from any other angle and at any other FOV, but at the specific render, it looks fantastic.
Masterpiece, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, but yeah, no. But working on cinematics, working on cinematics, and working with flashback and things makes things a lot easier.
Yeah. Oh my god, flashback's been a lifesaver and a nightmare at the same time.
Yeah, you get somebody standing in the wrong spot and you can just hide them. It's great.
Yeah. Also, not that it's like awesome because of how many tools you get. It's basically its own editing software. I had to do basically nothing in Premiere. Well, I say basically nothing. There's still a large timeline in Premiere Pro. Massive pain. It's only 1.21 upwards, which means my favorite mod, Create, can't use it for this project.
Oh,
Can't use
unfortunate.
anything else. So what I'm doing is for the train scene at the very first episode, I'm like, okay, well, I need to find a replacement, and I'm gonna make a completely new mod pack, record the train scenes, and then never come back to it. And I'm like, oh, come on, because it just deletes my favorite mod, and it's like, I understand it's a difficult thing to like port it backwards.
Oh yeah,
But
absolutely.
even like port create forwards, I know that's probably still quite a difficult task, but it's just a pain when you've got something planned. And it's like, oh, I can't do that because the mods aren't there. And it's like,
Right.
oh, please fix it soon.
I fear we're gonna end up running into a lot of that.
Yeah.
When it comes to the new like drop system that Mojang is trying out with, like, oh, we're just gonna drop a little bit of content, like just like 4 or 5 minor updates in place of like one major update, and it's like that's great.
Yeah.
For
Instead
modders,
of
though, that's a
instead of
nightmare.
updating it once, you have to update it 4 or 5 times.
You really have to upkeep, and it's like I hear modders complaining, and I get that mods are more complicated, but not to sound like a boomer, but back in my day, in 2011, we had weekly updates, and modders had to fix that shit every single day. It was a task. Granted, mods were again much simpler, and so it was a lot less fixing to do. But
yeah,
come on, guys, once every few months won't kill you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's like some mods now that used to be my favorites. They're like, they get updates. The thing, they still get updates, but they keep it on like 1.7, and it's like I can't use this. One of my favorite ones is called Fisk Superhero Mod. Love it because I love the gadgets it gives you. Stuck on 1.7.
Oh my god,
Can't
1.7.
use it. Like the graphics. Look, Minecraft has a simplicity about it that is awesome. I can't use the old graphics, especially on the old system. Like I don't mind putting the resource pack on every now and then, but playing back on that version, it's like no, please, just bring me forward, bring it forward.
Yeah,
we've gotten
anything
to the point
but
now,
this.
We've gotten to the point now where if you recorded footage in anything like 1.15 and up, I don't think anybody would even notice. Really, I don't think anybody would notice any difference. And so, like, it's so easy because each version is so, like, sort of homogenous with the previous and the next one, aside from whatever features were added. It's just like, so long as you don't need a scene in a fucking, in a pale garden, you can use 1.19 or 1.20 just fine.
And that's what's perfect about, with my series going forward. Everything is going to be made by me. So there's no, I need this biome, I need this setting. It's like, okay, well, command box, I can set the sky, buildings I build. No one's going to notice if I go back a version to use a mod.
Absolutely. Are you doing all of your own building for this project?
I have to, because I can't get anyone else to do it. So
oh wow,
I have to plan this out with my co-producer, and that's the only person who will be helping me. And then we just got to start building, so this doesn't take like 6 months to come out. Because I understood White Pine took 2 years. I don't want this to take 2 years. I want this to be out in the next few months. Hopefully.
Absolutely.
At least episode 1.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I lose steam so fast when it's like, yeah, no, this is a big project. This will take like a year and a half, and then it'll be done. Part of me is comforted by that timeline, because it's like a year and a half. That means I can kind of take it at pace, and I'm not rushed. But like, a year and a half means that, oh man, I fear being behind the cutting edge. I like the fact that pretty much everything I make is on time and has like a very quick turnaround where it's like, if I have an idea, I can execute upon it tomorrow, and it can be out in the world by the end of the week. And so, like, the great thing about that is I don't really have to watch the cutting edge too heavily and see what people are like doing up front. I still do, but like, I don't have to like, there's no chance of, oh shit, I've just seen White Pine. I have a White Pine inspired project I really want to do. By the time it's out, White Pine inspired projects will be a dime a dozen. Oh no. You know?
Well, I'm honestly thinking that might be better because it's not overdone by the time yours comes out, because there is a lot of people doing White Pine inside projects, and I'm very much trying to step away from oh, it's White Pine but noir, and it's like I don't want that. I want this to be its own thing that just takes inspiration in its camera work. The not first person, not it's all improv style. I'm like,
No, absolutely.
maybe it would be better without the overdoing of it, which is kind of what I'm hoping for a little bit.
Absolutely no, and that wasn't meant as any sort of a comment about the thing that you're making. White Pine was just fresh on the brain, so it's first yank out of the air, because White Pine was very inspirational for a lot of people recently, and for a lot of projects, and so it's really interesting to see these sort of waves happen, and it's like you never want to be on the back end of that wave. You never want to pour your soul into something for people to look at it and see like the main inspiration for it and go, oh, it's another one of these, meh.
Yeah, definitely.
It's really a hard thing. Me personally, we've been me and Jed, we've been very quietly, and I don't even think Jed knows everything that I have planned because I don't have much planned. But I've just been keeping it over time, and I was like, I want to do like a narrative driven thing for Minecraft. I'm in no rush to do it though. I'm in no rush to do it. Whenever it happens, it happens. I'm just waiting for a great idea to strike me, and like every time I have like every couple of weeks, I'll go, oh, that's a really cool idea. I'm not able to use it for any of my current projects. Put it in the like text document where I keep all my cool ideas for this like sort of amorphous like blob of a project that I have that will someday be molded into a whole thing.
The idea is not going anywhere. It doesn't matter when you do it.
Yeah, and that's the great thing, which is a lot of my inspirations. A lot of my inspirations for this particular thing run so far back. They run to like these are some names. They run back to like Shadow of Israfel and Seedlings and God, remember Seedlings? Never mind. And then like the Noob Adventures and remember that? I'm sorry, I can't get caught up on every one of these. But like,
fucking boomer.
I'm looking at like these like old school Minecraft machinimas back when they were machinimas, not cinematics. And going, what can I do to make this but now? What can I do to like bring this to 2025?
I had an era like that, and it never happened. I can say it never happened. It was a project that was inspired heavily by an old Minecraft role player called Caveman Films. He did a lot of FNAF stuff. So I took the factory, which was my favorite season, and I did my own thing with it. I was like, let's go 5 nights, let's improv it. I've got a story in the background. I want genuine reactions. I got 3 of my best mates at the time. We just went in and recorded. Never happened because 2 of them weren't streamers, so their audio was the worst thing I'd listened to ever. And the one that I had was it still worked. I'm gonna be honest. The one person that is like my best friend who is still in projects now, that would have absolutely worked. I just lost the project where it was like, this is too similar to Caveman Films as. I would much rather save this project and this idea for later down the line. I would much rather come back to this.
Absolutely.
Maybe when I can make my own.
That's the great thing about having projects to one side that aren't like what you're making, where it's like, this isn't necessarily like trendy, this isn't going to be like a cool thing to do as much as like this isn't the cool thing to do as much as just like it's a cool thing to me that I think would make a fine project. But I'm under no pressure to get it done. No time crunch because there's no trend to follow here. And like it's not like somebody's going to like, this is such an idea where it's like there's no way somebody beats me to the punch about this,
Yeah.
And so like those are the best ones in my opinion.
I'm doing something quite funny is where I'm trying to get ahead. I'm trying to get ahead of the kind of curve with something. Have either of you two heard of the game Poppy Playtime?
Yeah.
Okay,
I've heard of it.
So recently there was a sub goal that I had because I'm terrified of horror. I hate it. I couldn't even get past the start of the game. And it was a sub goal, play all 3 chapters in 3 days. Oh my god, I was terrified the whole time. I'm turning that into a video series.
Back.
Yeah, literally back to back to back, day 1, 2, 3. And the worst part is it went 5, 6, 4, 5, 6 because I couldn't finish chapter 3 in time. So I had 6 days rather than 3 days of nonstop horror. I decided, let's turn this into a video, my first horror game. Like, franchise.
Right.
This was back in October. That video is still not out of chapter 1. So what I'm doing instead is they've already announced chapter 4 is going to come out in January. So
Mhm.
I'm getting these to the point where they're like 99% done. And then when chapter 4 comes out, boom, boom, boom. Just there's my playthrough of it. I'm waiting until it comes back. Then I'm going to release it rather than just dropping it way after Halloween and way after the games have released.
Nice. Yeah, that's a
So
smart
that's a
idea.
good way. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially with big
Yeah.
editing projects. Post-production is something you never want to rush. It's probably
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
it's probably by far my least favorite part of the process, which is weird because it's like the part that I'm best at. Like I've taken like classes on Premiere and being able to like edit efficiently. But it's just like it sucks. I just hate it. I'm just coming around to the fact that I just don't like the idea of editing. I like having edited something. I like it when an
Mhm.
edit comes together. But man, do I not like editing. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vox
I like
just
the
Vox
finished
just
product.
hates everything he does, actually.
Yeah, I hate everything about everything. That's my whole deal.
Yeah.
What you were saying?
I love the finished product of like, oh, I've edited this myself, and this is what it looks like. Like the teaser, I'm like, I'm so proud of that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, getting started, it was like, I don't want to do this, and then it's like, I started it. I had day one done of like, okay, I've edited this, I've built this, I've planned this out. Now I've got the ball rolling. Now I'm into this, and it's a big thing with like videos like my Poppy Playtime one, my lore one. I hate the idea of cutting down a VOD. Not just because I can't
Oh,
stand the sound
yeah.
of my own voice.
Yeah.
But it's also just it's so much footage, and it's just like how do I know what I like in my own content is what other people are gonna like. So I hate the idea of cutting down my own stuff because it's why I always have a second person in the VC if they're willing. And I'm like, is this entertaining or is this me just being like, it's me playing the game, so I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, it's gone pretty well. I've played them my first chapter of Poppy Playtime video, and they were like, "No, this is genuinely entertaining. I'd watch this on my own."
Right.
Which
Oh,
is
yeah.
really nice to hear after weeks of editing, being like, "Oh yeah, this is good. You could see people watching this."
It is good to have
and
peer
it-
review. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Because
But it's
I sort of
unfortunate.
Sorry, Jed.
Mhm. Go ahead.
I sort of fall back. I sort of fall back on like editing basics of just like, okay, I don't know how to fill out the next 5 minutes of this. Like the next like 5 minutes of actual video needs to be the next 30 minutes of footage. All right, we're gonna do bits that I can edit, like bits that I have a funny idea to like put an edit on the footage for, and then space them with a couple bits
Mhm.
of just like gameplay moments or story beats from the thing that I'm doing that need to be in the video, and then just repeat that cycle. But it's very easy outside of that to like get in your own head very heavily about this. Is this funny? Is this good?
Yeah.
Is what I have here worth watching? You know, and so it's great. It's absolutely great to like have people in VC and just go like, hey, what do you think of like this like 30 seconds? Or like even like what do you think of this whole thing? You know? And it's
Yeah,
very
it's
it's very
like-
good to have somebody look at it and like give notes and editorialize a little bit, you know?
very much. Yeah.
Yeah, stream editing is so unfortunate because like Vox and I did a We Were Here playthrough, and then he did a supercut for the first one that we went through, and I thought it was genuinely one of the funniest videos that like Vox had done. 2 views, like in total.
Oh,
It was so unfortunate.
Bombed because
Oh.
I do like
bombed.
I don't do gameplay content on YouTube usually. I do it occasionally when like there's something I feel warrants like keeping but doesn't, you know, that I feel like transcends and is as good as the other stuff that I make. But usually when I make content for YouTube, I make content for YouTube. Like I'll sit down and I'll make like a commentary video essay type deal. And so it's just
Yes.
not what the people who are on my YouTube are looking for. And the variety is good. I like having the variety of like, all right, I'm gonna make some TikToks and then I'm gonna do a stream when I get sick of that, and then when I get sick of that for the day, I'm gonna work on a YouTube video. You know, because they're all very different workflows and all very unique styles of content. They flex different, you know, parts of the brain.
Mhm.
And pull a bunch of muscles that usually aren't so pulled. doing other aspects, and so it's really great for retention too. It's really great to have sort of like a varied content pool based on platform and like catered content for each platform, because it means you build a lot better. But other than that, yeah, no, editing is a hell of a thing. And it's definitely a make or break thing. I think production feels the most iffy at the time. Like I think when you're actively like, all right, we're gonna sit down and we're gonna record this scene, and it hopefully it'll turn out, and then if not, hopefully I can fix it, or we'll reshoot. But like if we have the time, but like the thing is, time is always the enemy. It's always a race against the clock. But the thing is about editing is like I get that way about editing too, but it's just like, except I can't come back tomorrow and just have new footage to work with. This is what I got.
Yeah.
And it has to work, Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a huge problem with refilming, especially for that teaser. I made the stupidest mistake of my life, and it's cost me not refilming that. So the great thing with Flashback is it saves your timeline. And I took that as, oh, it's working off Premiere rules. So I did something that I didn't like. So I was like, oh, well, let's Control Z it until, it's gone and back to its original form. I was under the implication that it worked exactly like Premiere. So I was like, oh, well, I've gone back too far. Let's Control Shift Z it to bring it back.
Right.
I then deleted something else. And then without me knowing, deleted something else. So it turns out Flashback does not have Control Shift Z. It just has Control Z. So I ended up going back until I had none of my things on that timeline anymore. So a simple job that went from me seamlessly cutting it to like stop rendering players, because there's a small glitch in the teaser where my character is meant to be invisible, and he's seen as like a shadow form for like 3 seconds. I'm like, I can fix that pretty easily. That went from me just clicking a button to stop rendering players to me then wanting to change the camera angle and messing the entire thing up. And I'm like, I can't reuse that. I can't set that camera up identical to how it was.
Oh man, that's so unfortunate.
Yeah.
We have little tricks that we'll do, especially with Minecraft, because like Console Craft, one of the projects we had worked on, didn't have any like replay mod or anything, and we did a lot of cinematics for it. And so we just found little ways to line your character up. And I found like, okay, so that pixel of that block is in the top right corner of my screen. That's how I line it up every time. And that worked out for us. But setting up cameras is just the worst,
painful,
especially in like games.
And I love lining up a shot, and I love having my shots be perfect. And the problem is, have you ever tried to guide somebody? Have you ever had like a perfect shot in your head, and you know exactly how you want it? And you're like, okay, Jed, I need you to like scooch just a little to the left. No, my left.
Too far?
Yeah, too far, too far. You got like a rule of thirds grid you can overlay on your screen real quick. Like, I feel really bad because I like these just... And like I feel like I paint Jed as incompetent sometimes when he's really, really not. He's a very helpful guy to have around because he's very quick to receive information and move with it. It's just that sometimes things like cinematography are well outside of his wheelhouse, and it's like this man has never lined up a camera in his life, let alone like tried to envision lining up a Minecraft character as though it were a camera. And so it's just like these are. We're down the rabbit hole here.
Yeah, I had something like that. It's a project that never came out, but I was doing a shot of like a shot with different perspectives of me falling, and I could not animate me falling vertically. So I had to film it me just walking away from a wall and flipping it. Oh, I'm trying to line up a person with you identical for multiple different shots. The reason that never happened is because we could never set it up. Had no replay, had no flashback, so it was me and a person in a world. And so I was like, okay, go to your right a bit. No, your left. No, now we have to reset line up the scene. Okay, go down a bit, and it's like, oh, that's painful working with a person rather than a camera. But
yeah.
Especially
I love
with Minecraft movement.
Oh, absolutely.
Minecraft movement. You crouch, you go down just like a pixel too far or 2 pixels too far. And then you go back up and you're not then in the same spot you started in.
it's so inconsistent, and like the
Yeah.
increments, even the smallest possible increment you can move in is
Mhm.
like far too much. But like I don't think I'll ever do it without flashback, because again, my primary background is in a lot of like real world production, and when you're directing a real world production of some kind, you can look through the viewfinder of the camera and go like, no. Can you line them up on like the lower third a little bit?
Yeah.
No. Here, give me the camera. You know, like I'll like I'm able to like do my control freak garbage and go, no. Here, I got it. There we go.
Yeah.
You know,
And in Minecraft, you can't just grab the person and go, here, be here.
just grab him by the cheeks and go,
Yeah.
look this way.
Look there.
Like an
I found
it
over-aggressive
pretty
hairdresser.
I found a pretty similar method. It was called me go where I'm meant to go and then teleport them. And then the main problem is then I wasn't lined up where I was.
Oh no.
Aw.
So
And
now
then
I
you've
have to
gotta
try and
line
line
back
myself
up.
back up. And it's like,
See,
that's
so-
never going to work.
So here's the idea: get a separate computer, get a different Minecraft client, be in the same
Yes.
world.
Yeah.
You know what would do well?
At that point, why not just be the camera yourself? Actually,
Mhm.
wait a minute.
You know what would make a great fucking mod? Somebody should do this as like a companion piece maybe to Flashback of like, give me a mod that allows me to place markers. Allow me to go in the world and put
Yes.
people on their fucking mark and make it where I can make that invisible in the final cut in fucking Flashback. Because that
Yeah.
would be fantastic. Just like markers that you can place down to like the sub-pixel of like exactly right here facing that way. That's where you need to
Okay,
walk over
some-
to, stand, act. You know?
Technically, that can be done because
Can
I've
it?
seen it done. MCC, the Minecraft Championships, have implemented a recent thing where you can build your own stage when you're being introduced, and they have armor stands
Right,
with
right.
the player's like mascot head on it, and you can have it placed any direction, facing like put wherever you want. And when the tournament starts, it teleports each individual player to the one marked with their name, and the armor stand is not there.
Huh?
And also, the stage is in a completely different location
That's great.
to where you built it.
That's really cool.
That's great. That works similarly, but I was mostly like that helps greatly for like lining up cameras and lining up actors when you need them to have a start position. But
Yeah.
like, could you imagine being able to do that except like I don't know if you've ever like been in like a fucking like a stage production or on a set where they have those markers laid out.
I've been in
It's
a
very
few.
nice.
I've been in a few stage productions when I was younger. Nothing when I'm older. Like nothing big Broadway-ish. Like very
Yeah.
much school production and something to do with the Shakespeare Company, which was a bit more professional, but still down that that level
Right.
of
Right. But like I mostly want these markers partially for camera lineup, and that like armor stand thing would help tremendously. Gotta figure out
Mhm.
how they do that. But secondly, like having a secondary function for like, so a lot of the times when it's like I need actors in a scene, the camera's lined up. Sometimes the actor will walk into frame, stand exactly where they're supposed to, and sometimes they're like off by like an inch or two, one way or the other. And it's just like that's just natural. Humans have variance, but
Yeah.
we do this little trick. It's very sophisticated. It's something that you need like a directing degree to really understand. It's a huge, massive piece of technology called putting a masking tape X on the ground right where they need to stand.
Yeah.
That way it's out of shot and like the actor knows precisely where they ought to be.
Oh
You know?
yeah.
'Cause that'd be
I
helpful,
didn't
too.
know about that actually until I think a few years ago, where it got brought up on British show. I assume it's in other countries as well. Britain's Got Talent.
Oh yeah.
They brought up when someone was stepped out of it. They were like on the tape on the floor, and it was like, oh my god, that's how they're all in the same spot. And it's like, why didn't that click sooner? That's how they do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, there are so many things. There are so many things, especially with again having a background is great because it there's so much transferable skill. There's so many like little tidbits that I picked up from like, oh, I spoke to this professional about this one time, or I was on set when they were doing this and that was great, or you know, when we were filming this, we did this little trick. Let me see if there's some way that I could maybe do that digitally, you know?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of transferable skill though that I really appreciate. It's just, you know, when it comes to Minecraft, it's just not built for that. Frankly, it's just not built for what we do, and that's just like that's forever going to be the obstacle. Is that like this just is not made for what I'm trying to do?
Not what the game was made for. We've molded it into that, but it's not its intent.
Yeah, no, I feel like it's definitely like the fun of it, at least a little bit to me, is the problem solving of like I will make this thing come hell or high water, it will be made. It's just a matter of how. It's like I'm gonna have to solve this problem and then the next one and then the next one, but eventually there will be a finished product in front of me, and that'll be great. And like, you know, that journey is almost as good as the destination, if a little more frustrating.
Oh yeah, we had a couple different moments in lore where it's like, okay, I need to teleport. How do we want to do that without getting mods involved? Because we don't really, or not like mods as in modifications, but like moderators. Yeah, and so we were like, fuck it, let's we'll put in a cinematic here, and I had a button on my stream deck that pressed F4 and switched my scene to the cinematic at the exact same time. So on Vox's end, I completely disappeared, and on my end, it went to a cinematic, and it was like, all right, yeah, this works. And so like I love that kind of problem solving as well, though. That's always just a good time. But
yeah, the trouble is we have so many rules with Willow. There are so many rules, and I appreciate them. I understand why they're there, but no modding in items for lore builds is a big one. It's like, all right, gotta build it. I'm gonna have to set aside a weekend, resource gather, build the thing, bing bang bam. But it makes everything so much more impressive that like it makes me feel so much more impressed and accomplished with myself, at least, that like, no, yeah, we did that in survival mode. Just regular, plain Jane survival Minecraft with like a few mods, but like nothing that helped us like execute this idea, really. You know?
I've seen Schematico on your streams. Like, oh my god, that's such an incredible build. Like, it's huge.
Place is ridiculous for a survival build.
It's not even there yet.
Horrible.
Yeah,
you know?
It's not done.
It's nowhere near.
It's
not even close to.
I gotta keep watching. Because I thought
there's like an entire
like
second half of the building. It's coming in. It's big as shit, though. Yeah,
we have less than a third done right now.
Wow.
Actually, I'd even say less than a fourth, because there's the exterior, there's the center area, there's your side, there's
you're right.
Like we're like a fourth of the way through Schematico right now.
You're right. It's just a race to get it done before the season is over, basically. Nobody's talking about Willow ending. Nobody's talking about Season 3 ending yet. Everybody's actually revving up for a new, like main plot arc, which is great.
Cool.
Because knowing that this whole, like, it's already kind of started, so I'm allowed to talk about it. This whole, like, cultist thing that they're building.
I've seen that a few times, yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
I've seen Dark stream with them, and it's like, okay, I'm behind. Apparently, there's going to be Willow lore recaps soon. Maybe.
Oh, yeah,
we're on
those.
Twitter.
Hopefully.
You're doing them? Okay, well, more content to watch with you guys.
No,
they
put us in charge of those. Oh, they put us in charge of something really special recently.
Are we allowed to talk about that?
What? The special thing we've been put in charge of?
The special thing. Yeah.
I don't...
That we get to be a part of.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm glad you said something. I'm genuinely not sure. I wonder if
I'm the one who reigns Vox in.
Would ends up be mad at me, you think?
Maybe. I don't know. If you want to risk it, this is on your hands.
We're an hour and 38 deep. I don't think anybody's gonna mind. And it's not like it's okay, so it's been teased for a while now that Willow's gonna have some new members, maybe mid-season. Like at some point during season 3. More folks are getting in, and more folks are being like vouched for. I think it's less applications, more just like who's vouching.
I don't think there was any applications announced for it.
Yeah,
they might still do them, but last time they did one of these, it was for ConsoleCraft. Post ConsoleCraft, everybody in ConsoleCraft was immediately just like allowed to become a Willow member if they wanted, just because that was such a fun project, and everybody in it was really, really pushing for it and really gunning for it to be great. And there was a lot of potential in a lot of the ConsoleCraft members, Jed included. But when Willow 2 happened, that was the last time proper applications for Willow were held. And when that happened, we got a lot of once the application's closed, my application was in that. Each of the members got a little video from a certain Chalubi Live friend of the show.
Yes.
And server owner at the time, currently missing in action, selling Transformers figures on Twitter, apparently.
I saw that. The Transformers One account liked their post, and it was like,
Did they?
"Am I in the
Crazy.
Transformers?" Well, no, it was like, no, it wasn't the Transformers One account. It was the "Is Transformers One out yet?" account, and it was like, "Is does this mean I'm in the Transformers fandom now?" And I'm like, that is funny. That is cool. Because I've been seeing them
Chalubi's
sell these
great.
figures over the past few days.
Chalubi is great.
Yeah, no, Chalubi is fantastic. But either way, Chalubi got to be the special little guy who appeared on camera in a video sent to all the members that was like, "Hey, you're a part of Willow now. Congrats.
You say on
Join
camera,
the
it was a sock
Discord."
puppet.
Well, he was like a little sock puppet guy. It was very funny. I think I still have it somewhere. I could definitely pull it, but I should show that at some point. It's a funny video. But what was I saying? Right. Oh, we get to do that this time. We have been sort of interim asked if we were like Enzo in the meantime asked like, "Hey, would you guys be willing to do this? Was this something you could do for us?" Like it seemed very much just like, "You take this off our hands. We got a bunch of shit to do. Could you have this?" And I was like, "I'll absolutely have that." So there's a real good chance cuz that's a big honor for me, at least, to be able to just to be able to be the guy to deliver that news. Love that. And so hopefully
Vox
that
told
comes
me
to
about
fruition.
this, and I responded with, "What? Why? Why us? Why?"
Why?
And
It's like it's a bad thing.
Well, no, as in like, why? Dude, I just got here, dude. Why are we like, gonna be like partially a face of Willow? It's like, I don't know. That was weird. It was weird and fucked up as someone very new to the content space.
Well,
they lost
that's very
Chalubi, they needed
exciting,
a
to be
guy.
honest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm the new
things.
Lubert.
New lube.
But yeah. So to be honest, we're we've got like 19 minutes left of the show. I've not asked a
where's the
single one of my
time
guest
gone?
questions.
Where's the time gone?
Where has
Honestly.
the time gone? We've been awful busy. We haven't actually gotten to any of our regular questions.
No.
Whatsoever.
Oh, we've just been.
There's no way to broach this other than
Yeah,
just
we've
like
been yapping. Jed's
guest
behind
questions.
and been that's why he's been interjecting. He's been looking for an opening to get to the guest questions
just to
at
get to
some
the question.
point.
I apologize. I've been known to
No,
yap.
no.
No.
I keep cutting him off because
Yeah.
like conversation's going good, and I'm like, "Jed, don't kill this. Come on, we're having a good talk.
I know,
Here.
I
Let
just,
the podcast
like-
fill itself." But we can do guest questions. Let's do some guest questions.
I do like
yes.
guest questions.
I
because
would joke a part 2, but I know you guys changed your rules on that, so
Yeah,
unfortunately not.
sadly not.
Yeah.
But
Hey, maybe when Silent City actually comes out and I can announce it fully. You never know.
Once you have more to talk about your project, absolutely hit me up, and we'll have you back on the show. I'm for sure.
absolutely,
down
yeah,
for
I'd
that.
love to come back.
But
yeah, well,
Guest
let's
questions,
get
Jed.
right into
Let's
it.
get into the questions. Yeah.
What made you interested in streaming or content creation in general?
Watching other streamers, I had like different errors, you could call them, and I will say, I know you've brought it up on the podcast many times. One of those errors was Tommy in it. I won't be ashamed of that. But I will say, it started Dante DM, Stampy, then moved into like Grian, and I was like, oh, I like what this guy's doing, but I personally wouldn't do it myself. Then Tommy came in, and I was like, this kid's almost my age. Why am I not doing this? And then I started doing it, and then it kind of got more into like, okay, I'm trying, but I can't be consistent. And then I found this guy, a co-owner of Power Creations, Owen Juice TV, where I was like, okay, I really like what this guy's doing. I really want to get into one of these projects. So my first ever stream was me pretending like I got into Pirates SMP because it was funny.
My god!
So
And that got you involved with them?
well, no, that didn't. They had no idea. It was my Rats
okay.
video almost a year later that got me involved with them because the other co-owner, Apokuna, actually saw the video and commented on it. So I'm like, oh, he's seen my work. And then they posted a thing about testers. And I'm like, okay, I'll join. And now this happened. So yeah, very cool. I hope one day I
wild.
can be in the projects, like actually, but never know.
Mhm.
I'm happy testing.
Well,
So-
I think I might be able to help you with that. See, the easiest way to get involved with something that someone larger than you is doing in content is to beg and snivel and cry and sob and plead. That
I'm not
typically
joking
works
with
out
you.
pretty well.
I am being 100%
please,
serious.
please.
In Vox's Willow SMP application, in the final notes, he put,
description?
please, 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 please,
The
please. I'm not
please,
joking
description of
with
that
you.
video. It was a bit. It was a bit because it says,
Yeah.
if this video did
But
not
it's a
convince you
good
for
bit.
your consideration, and then capital letters, please, 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 until the description had no characters left in it.
Oh my god, that's awesome. That's hilarious.
Yeah. No, yeah,
Oh.
so he's serious about that. He's serious. Beg.
Yeah.
It
Do
does
it.
work.
But
No, honestly, I hate to derail us again, but I have to talk about it because it was very funny.
oh yeah.
I brought up Korean earlier, and he was like my second real Minecraft YouTuber I got into. A very funny video that's floating around on the internet is like how he got into Hermitcraft, which is the series he's in. And it's very funny because it was like, I've received your rejection letter, and I choose to reject it. I will be. I know you've probably had a lot of rejection letters, and this one was very good, but I choose to reject it. I'll see you all on Monday. And it was honestly very funny. I enjoyed it, and that gave me the same vibes of like, sorry, no. I'm
Like a reverse George Costanza. What the hell?
yeah.
With the fucking, like, I quit, I'm done, this job fucking sucks, I'm out of here. And then it's like, over the weekend, getting that regret, and then on Monday, just walking in like nothing happened. It's like, what? No, I was joking around. I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good bit. No,
Oh,
but
man.
like, that's, you know, I'm learning that, like, a lot of this content thing is just confidence. It's just like gusto and pushing and going like, "What? I'm the fucking best," you know, and it works.
I did it.
Yeah.
I did it once, and it worked. I can't say what it is because it's not out yet, unfortunately. But there is a project I'm in with another creator for a video, and I was like, okay, well, there's no chance. You know, there's a very small chance I get in. I'll just DM them out my own confidence. 2 weeks later, I get a DM back from them being like, sure. And then since then, I've just been like, why am I not just DMing people and asking the question? We're all people at the end of the day. Like, worst thing to say is no.
Vox is more confident with that sort of thing. I've kind of pushed Vox to like
gonna call me out for dropping shit.
for dropping shit.
You didn't hear that? Did that not come through my mic? I just like dropped a piece of metal on my desk. It made like a horrible like
no, we didn't hear
noise.
that.
Oh, okay, good. I thought you were about to call me
No,
out
it didn't
for that.
come through. But
no, you were saying?
Vox has way more confidence than me, and I kind of push him to be like, yeah, you know what? It would be funny to DM the actor for Gibby from iCarly to ask if he wants to be on the podcast. You should do that.
Okay,
It
I
was
never
a
do
bit
that.
from Jed's
I never got
stream
that level of
yesterday.
it.
It was a bit, although I still think you should reach out, Vox. I'm being
I might do it
100%
just
serious.
for the funny.
Oh.
I might do it just because the no that I get will be hilarious.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
like a
Speaking-
what the fuck no.
Speaking of people
Speaking of-
you reach out for, last week's episode, Shipwrecked, it was actually really funny because I saw last week's episode come out and I was like, I wanted to talk about those things. And it's like, oh, with the Game Awards, can't talk about that anymore. Shipwrecked, I've just started my own playthrough, can't talk about that anymore.
You're more than
Oh, no, we
welcome
can
to
talk
talk
about
about it.
We can absolutely talk about it. I didn't give Shipwrecked a lot of time last week. I'm happy to loop back around.
Well, it won't be for very long because timer. But also, I haven't
yeah.
played much of the game, so I'm
Oh,
in a
you're
lot of
fine.
surprises.
You're
And
fine.
something that I can relate to is first stream playing Shipwrecked. Guess who went as my chat? Here
Would
comes
it happen to
Nebula.
be-
Yeah.
Yeah, it would happen to be a
And I'm
certain
like,
Nebula Dust
hi.
Phoenix, of course.
I was like, oh, okay. What is this? And it was the same thing you described, where no information, absolutely none, or bare minimum of like, oh, go around that corner and talk to that guy. And it's like, am I gonna get a jump scare? Am I gonna die?
Am I gonna get fucking jumped?
And luckily, I haven't got to the old version of the game. I'm just about to start it. Like the old version that isn't the modern version. The modern version
Right.
gave me chills enough. Like, honestly, I genuinely had like
eerie.
goosebumps.
It's very eerie, even just like on its surface.
Yeah, there was one bit, the bit with the deer guy around the forest when you're collecting the boat parts.
Oh yeah.
I don't know his name. I was
Horns.
walking around that, and I had someone else in my ear because I don't do horror well. And
Right,
we
of
both
course.
knew I'm walking at a pace during this section that they're not going to catch me. I can loop them. even just walking in that forest, I got chills. It felt unnerving. Like knowing they're like so far away from me, it was still like, I don't like this. This isn't horror like Poppy Playtime. This is unnervingness. And they've done
Yeah.
that really well. And I'd love to hear if you guys do manage to get them on the podcast, that I'll listen to that definitely because
Oh yeah, dude.
I'd love
I
to
feel
hear the ins and outs of that.
when I do something like horror related, or when I play a game in general, if I ever get stuck or like far too scared of just like, oh shit, there's gonna be something around the corner. There's no way there's nothing around this corner. They've been building to this little hallway for like the past 2 rooms now. There's gonna be something horrible in here. And it's like in those moments I like to just like collect data. I like to try to reverse engineer the person who made this based on like how the game has played thus far. Of like, well, they could have done that trick to me like 8 different times now if they were gonna. They're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Then
I'm
it's
being
like,
lulled into a
well,
false
maybe
sense
they
of
will.
security.
Maybe they will
You
do
know?
that. Yeah.
Maybe they know where I'm at, you know? And so it's just like, I don't know. I feel like up until like the very, very butt end of the game, I finally felt like I knew exactly what was happening and exactly how to deal with it. But up until then, I genuinely was left just guessing at like, not guessing at the puzzles. The puzzles were very well laid out, but like guessing at like, okay, that's this room. I have zero idea what could possibly be next. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm in this room now. It can't get worse than this. It got worse. Okay. So I'm not looking forward to the broken version of the game. Like I am, but at the same time, I'm terrified. Because if that was the base game, what's the one that canonically got pulled from shelves?
I highly recommend, as like a word of advice going into the old build of the game, I highly recommend checking behind suspicious looking walls. Because there are a lot of like weird little like pieces behind invisible walls that you like.
Oh, so just walking into walls.
Yeah, there's a bunch of shit that like I never would have found that like I watched, of course, because like after I finished, I was like, I'm gonna go watch a bunch of YouTube stuff, see what I missed, see what the little like bits and pieces are that I missed, start like piecing together other things that are related. And there's so many little secrets just in the like map that are accessible, where it's like, man, this is crazy. I don't know why this is. One thing I can inform you of that isn't game related at all, that no one was meant to find by playing the game, is that there is an active beating heart modeled under the beach, even in the 2023 build.
Oh yeah,
it's just in the sand of the beach.
No, the beach was my safe spot. Now whenever I go there, there's gonna be a beating heart under me. It's like,
yeah. And it just like it's nothing that like affects the game, and I don't really feel like it's spoilery because it's something that like you cannot find in normal.
Yeah, you
gameplay.
can't. You have no idea it's there. Like I've been on that beach many times, and I'm like, there's nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't make any noise.
There's nothing wrong with this
place. Just up under there. Apparently, Squeaks, the creator of the game, was asked about it, and they were like, "Yeah, I put that there to fuck with people who want to like move the camera outside of the bounds of the game.
Oh
just have
my
a look.
god!
Just to like fuck with people like that, you know? And it's a really interesting detail. But there's so much shit like that is technically findable, that like is meant to be found, that like just I don't know, man. Keep your eyes peeled.
I love that kind of stuff where it's like, you know, they know there's gonna be people hacking the game. That's obvious. Why not put something there fun for them to find? I think my favorite one is Bending the Machine. They put a bunch of cardboard cutouts everywhere behind walls you couldn't get behind, and it's just Bendy with a really creepy smile with a sign saying "Wandering is a terrible sin," and it is one of the most iconic, I think, hidden things in all of horror. I think.
Yeah, there's a FNAF fan game where speedrunners like got to it and like ravaged it like a motherfucker, and then they get to like they found a skip where they could just jump over a wall and get to the next area, and on a new patch you can still jump over the wall, but you get to there and there's a sign that just says "Nice try," and it's like, oh man, fuck.
I feel like
I love those like developer almost like messages to you directly for trying to do something.
Yeah, big time.
And games are like scattered with those out of bounds. So there's this thing in I think my favorite example is in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. There's a bit that happens. Okay, you're familiar.
I love the Stanley Parable.
There's a bit that happens where if you go looking around and nosing around with the camera in places that it shouldn't be, and doing a little no-clip action, you will get a special little piece of dialogue about directed like specifically at the kinds of people who do that for fun.
Yep.
And they're like, "What are you looking for? You're like a little rat running
I
around
love
looking
the
for
narrator.
virtual cheese." You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the Stanley Parable. It knows how to make fun of itself and others, and it's perfect.
I don't know
Oh,
how they
yeah.
did it, but like the Stanley Parable is always 2 steps ahead of you somehow. They've
that's
considered
kind of freaky.
everything you might do. Like as a bit, like I didn't think it would do anything. Because I'd played the original and it didn't do anything there. But I was playing through Ultra Deluxe because of the new content, and I was just like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna take the elevator back up. The one that I just went down, I'm gonna take it back up. And then I'm
Yeah.
gonna go down again. And then I'm gonna go back up. And then shit started happening when I would do that, and I was like, holy shit, okay.
It's
All
like
right,
they
I really
thought
gotta
of
lock the fuck
everything.
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
it's kind
fucking-
of creepy. I'm gonna be honest. Like I think the Stanley Parable, it could be argued as a slight horror game. You are alone in an empty office with a guy in your ears that could say anything. And I will
Right.
say they leaned into that because there's a scene in I think it's in the original. I don't know if it made it to the Ultra Deluxe, where one of the restarts you get, one of the windows in the office, a guy just walks past.
Oh,
Never
yeah, they
gets brought
have
up
that.
Never gets brought up again. Never gets talked about. A guy just walks.
No acknowledgement. And it happens, like, through a window. Like, there's a
Yeah,
window
it's
into an
like you
office,
see
and
him.
behind that office
Yeah.
is another hallway,
Where does
and you
he
see a guy
go?
walk past. And you could very easily miss it. It's such, like, a rare shot of
Yeah.
happening. You could very easily just not be looking in that window that particular time and miss him. And it gives me very, G-Man vibes from Half-Life.
Yeah,
of,
big time.
like, because Ben Shapiro, the guy, not Ben Shapiro, fucking
What?
Mike
What?
Shapiro.
Huh?
Not fucking Ben Shapiro. Mike Shapiro, the guy who voices the G-Man, did like a thing. He had like a segment in the Half-Life 2 20th anniversary documentary where he was like talking about the G-Man as a character, and he's just like he put it in a very eloquent way of like the thing about G-Man sightings in these games of like seeing him like standing on a balcony above you watching or like in the distance or whatever is that you
Yeah.
see him that first time and you have no idea how many times he's just been watching and you haven't
Yes.
spotted him. And it's like
There is a
that's such a
similar-
phenomenal thing. That's a
There's a
phenomenal
similar
way to
game
describe
that did that recently called Finding Frankie. It's a
Mhm.
new horror game about parkouring. There's a
Ooh.
character in it called the Other Frankie, who is this really creepy, tall rabbit that just smiles. People found him once at the end of the game, and it turns out throughout the entire thing, almost every other section, he's just in a back corner watching you, and his head will follow wherever you go. And you have no idea he's
Crazy.
there until like your second or third playthrough.
Oh, that's
And it
another thing
gives-
about Shipwrecked that you would never find out on your own. You know how so every area in the game is always loaded, no matter what.
Mhm.
It always
Yes.
exists. And thus all the NPCs in those areas exist. Like all of the NPCs that you talk to, who when you walk into their area, they track you with their heads, so they're like staring at you,
Yes.
and that's creepy enough. I hate to inform you, because those areas are loaded all the
Do they
time,
track you through
that
the
never
wall?
turns off. They're tracking you through
Oh.
walls at all times. Every NPC
The
in the
next
game is
thing just-
looking at you.
Oh, that is terrifying.
That's
Just bring
horrible.
Bookie to the center of the map and just be like, "You're all looking at me in a circle.
Yeah,
Every one of you."
I love that.
Oh
I
my
find
god.
find such an odd horror. I've always found such an odd horror about unloaded sections of video games. There's definitely a distinct kind of horror
Definitely.
of like,
I
yeah, this character still lives when you're not around. It's just in
Mhm.
sort of like a state in an unloaded world, just standing there in like a
Oh.
purgatory waiting for you. And
Big
it's like,
time,
that's, don't like
I
that.
literally I follow a YouTube channel specifically for that reason. It's called Tetrabrick Gaming, if you ever want to look it up.
Oh yeah,
He
I love that
literally
guy.
does Lost Bits, where it's outside the map stuff. And it's like what it doesn't show you. And genuinely, some of the stuff outside the map is scarier than what's in the actual game.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Especially,
Yeah,
like,
there's something about like even like non-NPCs, even like still models of characters that are just like culled because they're not used in the scene, so they're just sitting out there. Just
Yeah.
staring, just existing. And it's like it's such
Yeah.
a surrealist sort of it's like a horror that never would have come to be, you know, if it
Mhm.
weren't for video games as a medium and how they function, you know? Because
Oh
like
yeah.
it's so unique to like that specifically, and I don't know. I've been enjoying a lot of the Digital Circus stuff because they touched on that a little bit, and
Yes,
and a
I love
bunch of
the
other
Digital
stuff.
Circus.
Digital Circus is so fucking
Oh,
good.
I love it. Yeah.
Been having a great time with it because it really plays on those sorts of like not necessarily horror moments as much as just like sort of more of an existential sort of like
Yeah,
dread situation. Love that.
This isn't horror. This is things you'd never think about. Then you get a little bit of horror on the side. It's like, oh, especially the newest episode. God, that genuinely gave me creeps sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Especially some of the gangle scenes. That was something.
That was rough
Mhm.
stuff. Yeah. I don't know. I think they're really getting somewhere with it, and I really appreciate it.
Oh,
I really
yeah.
like the way that show is going. You know.
Yes,
For sure.
It's fortunate that it's every few months we get something because
Oh,
animation takes a
yeah.
while, understandably.
Animation is
things that take a
expensive
while.
and takes a while, but Kevin Temmer. Before we wrap, Kevin Temmer, the lead animator on that, he's so good at what he does. He's so
Yeah.
good at what he does. Love that guy.
Oh,
to death.
definitely.
I love
Yeah, the
seeing the little
animation's
behind the
getting
scenes
better
pieces
every
that he
episode.
puts out. Because I had found out about
yeah.
I had found out about Kevin Temmer not long before Digital Circus started, like maybe a few months, and so I had seen
I think
some
I
of
had
his work
shown him
before.
to you.
No, I think it was
was-
Jazz who showed him to me. Well,
I think it
before
was
like,
Jazz,
Yeah.
but I think I showed it to Jazz, so it looped around
you
somewhere.
showed it to Jazz. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I didn't know that's where. Okay, I didn't know you were the start of that. But no, yeah,
Yeah.
Kevin Temmer's pretty cool. Kevin Temmer's pretty
Kevin
cool.
Temmer is
I
cool.
enjoy that guy.
But,
Man.
One more thing, just I know you're getting to the end. I want to
Oh,
talk
no,
about this
no,
when
go
I'm
ahead.
talking with you because I've never got a chance to talk about you. Vox, me and you have a similar issue with a certain
Do we?
game.
What game?
FNAF in real time.
oh my
Oh
god.
man, will it ever
You
come
brought
out?
that up
Who
since the
knows?
start of the podcast, and I've been listening. I'm like, yes, where is it? Where's my game? It's been too long. Just give
They
it.
keep teasing it. They're still
They
teasing it.
keep
and it's like,
teasing
dude,
it
Please,
Yeah.
give me the
every
game.
time. Give me it. I want to play a FNAF game, and the fact I can see them move in real time makes me want to play it more than them teleporting.
The idea of I had this idea when I first heard about FNAF in real time in like January, where and I think I've talked about it on the podcast, so I'll make it quick. But it's this idea of I'm gonna get a little night guard alt for my PNG
Yes.
commissioned, and then I'm gonna sit down for Monday through Friday, and then if like night 6 and 7 are in, I'll do those too. And like every day of the week, just sit down at
Oh,
from
that'd be
midnight to
perfect.
6 a.m. and stream FNAF 1 and just like
Oh,
try
I'd
my
love that.
damnedest to get through it in one shot every night. And like if I die
we
early,
were
that's the night, everybody. See you tomorrow. I think that's like a phenomenal
Yeah.
idea, and I really want
Yeah.
to execute on it. But
Like, yeah,
good
actually,
God, will the game
security
ever
guard.
come out? You know?
Yeah, please.
we were even
come
gonna
out.
do a little like Jed phone guy bit. It was gonna be so
Yeah,
good.
Jed was gonna be my phone guy. I was gonna like mute
Oh,
the
that'd be
in-game phone
perfect.
guy and have Jed with like a fucking like voice filter over him. So it's like I'm calling him on the phone from the office. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant.
But
oh man.
yeah.
Oh.
Anyway,
But yeah,
did you have any closing thoughts?
Me?
Yeah.
Not that I can think of on the top of my head. I just want to say thanks for having me on. Like, this has been awesome, and the time
yeah.
has flown by.
Absolutely.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
been a real
Thought.
clean couple hours.
Yeah,
It has.
and I hope
But,
everyone listening's enjoyed. I don't really get to do this too much.
Yeah.
Oh, for
yeah.
sure.
Absolutely.
You want to wrap us around to an outro? Before you do though,
Yeah.
you want to
All right, go ahead.
hand out Dan, you want to hand out your socials or whatever? You want to talk about like where people can find you after this?
Yes, I majority go on Twitch at twitch.tv Corruptden, and occasionally YouTube. I'm trying to get better. It's where you'll see the new project, and I do have a link tree, which slightly outdated Instagram, but you know it, Vox. I assume.
Yeah,
Is
it exists. It exists.
It
We'll put
It
your link
exists.
tree-
It's out
We'll
there.
put
It's
your
very
link tree down there
outdated.
so people can have a poke around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy it.
And
Normal.
as
outro
for the
stuff.
show, you can check us out in the description below via our card that I had ever so lovingly made, despite hating card.
It's a
You
really
can find
good
both of our
card.
socials on there. It's a pretty good one. I'm pretty proud of it. But you can check that out in the description. You can find both of our socials via, I think it's on the like about the
It's on the card
hosts
page.
or whatever
It's available.
page. It's on there. It's
Makes
somewhere.
the description.
But anyway,
so
click on
clean
that.
To just link like one or
Oh,
two
yeah.
things instead of like 8.
And we'll be back every Sunday at 3 p.m. And I don't really have an outro bit, but thank you for being on,
I got an outro
Corruptin.
bit.
Yes,
We didn't really have
Okay,
time.
do your outro bit. Go.
Jed, I have an outro bit for you. Rapid fire all the guest
What?
questions. All the guest questions you didn't get through. Go.
All right.
Do them.
All right, is there a story behind your OC?
Yes.
What drives you to make content?
Entertaining.
How long have you been
Stuff.
making content?
A year and a half.